Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media on Better Sports Network.
Third down, 5 minutes to go, 7 yards to go. Ball on the 13-yard line, as Luke said before. 4 down territory. The snap, Mayfield scans the field, floats one toward the end zone. McCaffrey holds it in for a score. Not dead yet. Moore and Smith lined up on the wing. Smith in motion, the snap. Toss to McCaffrey, running right side. Got a great block from Moton. McCaffrey cuts it inside the 10, 5, touchdown.
Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media.
All right, yo, what up, everybody? Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media. Corey Parson, the fantasy executive, holding it down for my man Nando today is Justin Henry. Justin, what's good with you, my man?
Man, week 7's here. We got some crazy news here in the Bay Area last night, but I'm feeling good, man. Ready to talk some football, some hoop. Let's get it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Obviously, the big news is the trade that took place yesterday. Carolina Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey returns to the Bay Area as now a member of the San Francisco 49ers. Got plenty of stuff to get into with that. We'll get into that. I'll break that situation down. That audio you heard coming in to the program was from the Carolina Panther Radio Network. Listen, since yesterday was the sports equinox day, potato to potato, tomato, tomato, right? That means we had plenty of stuff to break down. Had some Thursday night football last night. Hop into that a little bit. Major League Baseball, you know what I'm saying? Got to talk about that, unfortunately. We had some NBA, some good games in the NBA last night, you know what I'm saying, Justin? A little action in the Sun Belt, college football-wise, you know. So, for the most part, it's October. It is what we expect. It's plenty of sports action, and I'm happy to break it all down with you on the show today.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I was watching that Thursday night game, and it was kind of boring there for a minute. We saw, Saints and Cardinals going at it, so it was good to get that extra news in there. Like you mentioned, just having all sports, man. This is the best time of the year, man. We got something going on at all times. So there's hoop, football, baseball, hockey. Let's get it.
No doubt. So let's start to break this down and talk about some of the main things that took place yesterday. I see Nick Durst is in the chat. He says after the Yankees get swept, is Corey going to swap his Yankee hat for a Cowboy or a Laker hat? All right, Nick, so that's how you want to start. You know what I mean? I have you know the New York Yankees will not get swept. It's going to be a 7-game series, but that's neither here nor there. Now, with that being said, right, I am going to get into my NFL power rankings in a little bit, but I do want to kind of get a lay of the land of what's going on. You know what I'm saying, Justin? Because you had mentioned a couple things like the first time you was on the program.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring them up. But I'll start with the big trade. Christian McCaffrey, now member of the San Francisco 49ers. Big trade. Don't really see the Super Bowl odds move too much. San Francisco, one of the favorites in the NFC right now. Christian McCaffrey brings a lot to the table. Obviously, you put McCaffrey in that skill set in Kyle Shanahan's running system, how they want to cover and dictate the middle of the field, Justin. Right. It looks like a pretty good move for McCaffrey and the 49ers.
Yeah, it's an expensive move for the Niners, giving up a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th-round draft pick this year and a 5th rounder next year. To me, it's a move that's significant. Like, this is the time for John Lynch and for Kyle Shanahan. I think the excuses are going to start to come off the table. They invested a lot in Trey Lance last year. It didn't pan out this year with the injury. This team wants to win a Super Bowl, and I think they know the window is there. And so doing this move says, hey, our running back core is okay, but it needs to be better. Our offense needs to be more dynamic. We can't lose games like we did to the Atlanta Falcons without any support. So having guys like Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, all on the offense right now, I don't think it changes too much as far as the potential of this team, but I think it raises the floor for this 49er team now. There shouldn't be a whole lot of excuses for this offense, for Jimmy Garoppolo. Their weapons are there. To me, this is a move that catapults them. It secures their spot at the top of that NFC West right now, and it makes them a top 3 threat in the NFC.
All right. Well, I don't know if I can go that far, but I do think the San Francisco 49ers make that big trade. As far as the game goes last night, Arizona Cardinals 42, Saints 34. That number moves towards the Cardinals. They successfully covered. They end their 8-game home losing streak. Big night for D-Hop and his return. Cardinals 42, Saints 34. Andy Dalton was the backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys a couple years ago and went terrible. It's going terrible right now with the Saints. But D-Hop, I guess, was the big story of the night. And, people talk about Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury back and forth on the sideline, but both those cats got their bread. They both got the same agent. There's nothing to see there.
You know, the Cardinals, man, it did look D-Hop, man. I'm first of all glad to see him back on the field, one of the best receivers in the league. To me, it was great to see him back on the field, and it seems like we knew this, but he's the key component for this Arizona Cardinals offense. It looked much more in sync yesterday. Kyler Murray didn't throw for a ton of yards, but it looked fluid throughout the game. We saw Kyler Murray yelling at Cliff Kingsbury during the game yesterday. But this Saints team, man, to me, they got a lot to worry about. There was a high expectation for the Saints team. We've seen a lot of rash of injuries with this team, and it just didn't look good. Like you said, with Andy Dalton in there, they got to get things right.
Yeah, it didn't look right last night. So I do still think the Saints got some heat, but they got to get Jameis back in there, and we'll see what gets going after that. Let's go to Major League Baseball. Houston Astros now up 2-0 on the New York Yankees. Houston 3, Yankees 2 last night. Series shifts back to the boogie down. I expect the Yankees to get back into it then.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to catch the game last night. I haven't been too in tune with the MLB this year, man. It's been a fun season though during the regular season. You know, with Aaron Judge, obviously you as a Yankees fan watching Aaron Judge take the AL home run record, that was crazy to see. But I've heard a lot about the playoffs. I with this NFL being so crazy, man, it's been tough for me to get dialed in with it.
No doubt. Last night in college football, big game in the Sun Belt. Troy, as a 3-point underdog, gets a 10-6 victory over South Alabama. So that took place last night. In the NBA, Philadelphia 76ers played their second game of the year. The Milwaukee Bucks made their debut. Giannis and the crew with a 90-88 victory over the 76ers. Philadelphia now 0-2 on the year, but they have played the two best teams in the Eastern Conference in Boston and Milwaukee. James Harden with another big night last night. 31 points for James Harden as the Bear gets off to a hot start to start the season.
Yeah, they got to get things figured out because they can't rely solely on Joel Embiid this year as they have in past. And I think it's good to see assertive James Harden, somebody he's trying to be that next piece. And Tyrese Maxey's played at a pretty good level as well. So I think it's good that they've played some of the top teams of the East, potential Eastern Conference Finals matchups. But we've seen this team start to take the evolution, right? You can't just go through Joel Embiid because something happens to him, that's the whole team. So I like what I saw out of the Sixers. And we saw, even though they took the L, and then we saw the Lakers too, man. We talked about Russ, bro. 0 for 11 yesterday.
Yeah, right quick though. Yeah, the Bucks did hold Embiid down in the second half. He didn't score. He scored 0 in the second half. Speaking of zeros, the Clippers beat the Lakers 103-97. Right? That's fair. The Clippers are a better team than the Lakers. You know, the Lakers have their struggles, right? Russell Westbrook, your man, right? That's your man. Because last week when you was on with me and Nando, and I was like, they got to cut him, you was like, oh, no, the shot going to cut. You was defending Russell Westbrook. This is a 0-for-11 right here. Are you still defending Russell Westbrook?
You know, I'm defending Russell Westbrook, the player, not the situation. He's not in a great situation right now with the Lakers.
Wait a minute. 0-for-11 on the Lakers is a 0-for-11.
0-for-11 is a terrible game. 0-for-11 is a terrible game, but players have terrible games, and I get it. The elite players, the guys that we were talking about, the LeBrons, the young, they don't do 0 for 11. So I get that. But he also had 5 steals, and he's trying to make his impact on the defensive side of the ball. So to me, he's trying to find this role. And it's obviously we know this isn't the right pairing. Westbrook and the Lakers is not the right pairing. But I think right now what he's trying to do is identify his role coming off the bench, having to be a defensive guy. They're trying to figure it out.
Nobody is the right fit for Russell Westbrook. Maybe I was the only team. You know what I was thinking of a night? Maybe the Miami Heat, you know what I'm saying? Kyle Lowry looks to be like he's washed up. Maybe Russell Westbrook can go be 0-for-11 with the Miami Heat. But then he'll probably get into a fight with Jimmy Butler because, you know, Jimmy Butler's not going to have that.
100%. Now, he got to go to a team like the Magic, the Knicks, just somebody with no presence, no other like big name
presence.
Don't put him on the
Knicks.
Yeah, he wants the Knicks. He might turn that thing around because the Knicks, man, they got a whole bunch of lefties on their team and nothing else.
All right, so got a big program on deck today. Like I said, going to run through the NFL board. No guests today. You are the guest. We want to take your phone calls. Want to go off some of your interaction in the chat. You know what I'm saying? So get involved. Be a part of the show today. Start Sit crew. You can throw your stuff in the chat. You can hop on here and give us a call on the app. You know what I'm saying? We got your Start Sit. Get you ready for the big fantasy weekend. So that's where we stand right now. I think we're off to a pretty good start, right? Now, before we get into the NFL stuff and run through the board, you know what I'm saying, Justin, I want to go through the the Fantasy Executive NFL Power Rankings. Now, I don't really get into my power rankings until around, until we get into later on into the month of October. I want to see how everything is shaking out, injuries, who looks like this, who looks like that. So my initial power rankings just hit the press today. You know what I'm saying? These are fresh power rankings. You know what I'm saying?
Here we
fresh
go.
Off the printer, fresh out the stream, fresh power rankings, right? So I want to get some of your opinions as we go through the power rankings, if that's all right with you. I mean,
100%.
Yeah, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? So my top ranked team in the NFL right now are at 1-1. And listen, I think it's agreeable that the Buffalo Bills appear to be the team to beat right now in the NFL. Big victory over the Chiefs, come from behind victory over the Ravens. Josh Allen is the MVP right now. The Buffalo Bills are my top ranked team. There's no denying that, correct?
I think you got to put them there right now. It's just the caliber of wins they've had this year. You got to put them in there. There's really only one other competitor to me, and I would still put the Bills over them right now.
All right. The number 2 team in the Fantasy Executive Too Good to Be True power rankings.
Love it. I love it.
The Fantasy Executive Too Good to Be True power rankings is the Philadelphia Eagles, the best team in the NFC right now, undefeated. Jalen Hurts getting it done, running the football. The secondary is tight. They're playing good defense. I can't believe I'm saying all these nice things about the team in Philadelphia, the Eagles, but I got to be honest. I got to keep it a buck. The Philadelphia Eagles are the second best team in the NFL right now.
They look legit, man. And you want to blame the schedule, how easy it is. You want to blame a lot of these things. It doesn't matter. The Eagles are playing at a high level. They're playing behind the quarterback play, offensive line play, defense is playing at a high level. Not really a lot you can say bad about these Eagles team outside of the fact that they're not proven in the playoffs. So I think the Eagles coast through this regular season. I can see maybe 2-3 losses on the year. They dominate the NFC, and then they'll have to get battle tested, a little battle tested there in the NFC.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what this team looks like come January once we get into the playoffs. Obviously, this team's first foray into the playoffs last year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took out the paddle on them. But this is a different year for Tampa and for Philadelphia. We'll see how it plays out the rest of the season. Now is when things can start to get a little bit shaken up, and I'm still going with the Too Good to Be True power rankings. My third power ranked team, we go back to the AFC, and I'm going with guys that have been there before. Quarterback, head coach, combination, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, my third power-rated team in the NFL, Fantasy Executive, Too Good to Be True power rankings.
Corey, I wanted to come on and just disagree with everything you had to say today, but I can't right now. Your top 3 is looking immaculate. It's almost too good to be true.
There you go. That's just why I put it out there like that. All right. Now, this way, like I said, I think things will start to get hairy at some point. And I'm going to stay in the AFC, and I'm going to stay in the AFC West. 100% honest with you, coming into the season, I was not the biggest Los Angeles Charger guy. Because I'm like, Mr. 4th and 10, Brandon Staley, not really my kind of head coach. And I still think Mr. 4th and 10 at some point is going to end up costing his team. But right now, Los Angeles Chargers, Fantasy Executive, Too Good to Be True power rankings, team number 4.
Yeah, I'm not sold on this Chargers team, and they've had some questionable victories, but they're victories. And at the end of the day, that's what matters in the NFL, getting wins. So we've seen Brandon Staley up to some of his old tricks. This team's been pretty injured too. So they're doing this without their number 1 receiver in Keenan Allen. They've had Justin Herbert still dealing with the rib injury, still pulling out wins. I want to see him up against some of this more elite competition. We saw him lose to the Chiefs. I want to see them play some tougher opponents, because I think there's a couple of the teams out there I'd rather have than the Chargers. I'm sure you're going to get into them.
Interesting right there. Okay. Now, let's keep it in the AFC again for team number 5. Coming into the season, everybody wrote off the Tennessee Titans. Oh, Tennessee, they don't have A.J. Brown no more. They don't have this. They don't have that. Ryan Tannehill this, Ryan Tannehill that. It's still Mike Vrabel. It's still King Henry. It's still situational football. The Indianapolis Colts, Matt Ryan, it's not happening. It ain't it. Tennessee Titans, power rank 5th by the Fantasy Executive.
Now, this This is where I got it. There's no way in hell the Tennessee Titans should be 5th in your power rankings. Not with some of these other teams in the NFC. You got 4 teams in the AFC in your power rankings ahead of guys.
Yeah.
The New York Football Giants haven't earned that. Tennessee was on a bye, and the Football Giants haven't earned that, sitting at 5-1. Are you kidding me?
Tennessee Titans is a better football team than the New York Giants. I've seen the Tennessee Titans do it in the past. I'm pretty sure they can do it again. They got a big matchup this weekend versus the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, but I can see my ranking on the Titans being just a tad bit aggressive, so I can agree with you on that. Power rank team number 6 in the Fantasy Executive Too Good to Be True power rankings, right? We go to the DFW. We go to America. Dak Prescott gets hurt.
Oh, my God.
Jerry brings the team in, huddles up the brain trust, and say, listen, Kellen Moore, to stop trying to coach to get a job and coach to win the game. Mike McCarthy, you're the head coach. Take it over. Get everybody in line. You're Cooper Rush. You come in here. Tony Pollard, Zeke Elliott, Micah Parsons, offensive line, head coaching. You know what I'm saying? The Dallas Cowboys, America's team, power rank number 6, the second NFC team to join the program.
Are these without bias? Or is this ranking
without
without bias?
I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist. How do you mean bias? I'm a journalist.
There's no way you put the Dallas Cowboys at number 6 ahead of the Football Giants. Are you kidding? There's no way.
Beat the Giants.
I'm sick to my stomach hearing these rankings right now. It's starting
the
to get
Cowboys beat the Giants pretty handily, too.
The Giants beat
like
the
they
Tennessee
always
Titans.
do.
This ain't equating right now, Corey. It's not equating right now. The Cowboys, they'll be good with Dak. And the Dallas defense is playing at a very high level. But to me, to put them, second in the NFC right now ahead of the Vikings?
Second in the NFC.
The Vikings have even been playing at a very high level.
The Minnesota Vikings, are you serious? Kirk Cousins, throw interception in the red zone, Minnesota Vikings.
How many L's they got?
They only have 1 L. Let me get to the next team. Team number 7 in the Fantasy Executive Too Good to Be True top 10
It was too good to be true.
The Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, been there. Harbaugh, been there. The back end of the defense is a problem, but we think it can get better in Baltimore. Team number 8 is the Minnesota Vikings, right?
Okay.
Team number 8, the Minnesota Vikings. That's that. They're there. I don't trust Minnesota yet, but you can't knock the record. Team number 9, then you have your New York Giants as team number 9. New York Giants 5-1, doing a good job of facing and taking on who's on the schedule. And then team number 10, the San Francisco 49ers are team number 10.
This is too low, man.
Why is it too low?
It's too low.
Wait, Trey Lance, what are you talking about? How's it too low? The quarterback, wait a minute. Hold on. Your franchise quarterback that played a FCS football game 2 years ago, Trey Lance, you should have drafted Mac Jones. That was a mistake. But your franchise quarterback, nowhere to be found. Jimmy G, who you didn't want, now has to come save the organization. And you think the San Francisco 49ers, the audacity, the San Francisco 49ers, how high should they be ranked?
The Niners are a better team than the Cowboys. They're a better team with Jimmy. With Jimmy, we saw that last year. We can we can rewind the tape and go back to when the Dallas Cowboys were home in the playoffs last year.
That was a meaningless game.
The L with all the same players. So I don't want to hear that. We better
No.
And then
wait a minute.
C-Mac. Like, we took some bad L's to the Bears and Falcons. There's some bad L's.
The Atlanta
Falcons team is better than this Cowboys team.
No, it's not. You lose to the Atlanta Falcons last week. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear this about San Francisco not being better than the Dallas Cowboys. Not this year. Not last year. They won the playoff game, right?
Spanked them.
But I would rather take. It was not a spanking. Dak would have tied the game up if the referee kicked the ball. The referee kicked the ball. It should have been a time. It should have been a stoppage of the clock right there. Dak ties that game up. Dallas goes into overtime and wins the game. San Francisco goes back to the Bay Area to get little fella Trey Lance ready for the upcoming season. How's the team quarterback? Wait a minute now. The quarterback that you had off on the sideline is in the game now. Your version of Cooper Rush is in the game now. What are you
Trey
talking
Lance
about?
jersey. He's gonna come back. The Trey Lance is gonna come
He
back.
ain't played since 2019. What are you talking about, Trey Lance?
Hey, we've been in the NFC Championship. We've been in the Super Bowl with Jimmy G. I'm not worried about this team. The Cowboys, you put them over the Niners, and I'm trying to think. The Cowboys, I can't remember, like physically remember the last time the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl. I'm 36, and I can't physically remember the last time the Dallas Cowboys were in a Super Bowl. I was in fifth grade eating lunch.
Right, so Dez caught it. They're supposed to be in the Super Bowl that year. They'd have won the chip when the NFL robbed Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys on Ezekiel Elliott's second season. That big suspension that the lady said it shouldn't have been no suspension. Once again, Roger Goodell and the NFL robbed America's team. They robbed America of a Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl in 2007. The New York Giants paid off the referee, robbed the Dallas Cowboys of a Super Bowl. I don't want to hear you act like the Niners been winning championships. They haven't.
Hey, How you gonna be America's team? Hold on. How are you gonna be America's team when the biggest platform is TikTok, right? Biggest social media platform is TikTok, and 90% of the users on TikTok never seen the Cowboys win. How is that representative of America?
TikTok
America wins.
The Cowboys a propaganda app. That's not true. What's going on TikTok? I tell my kids, I tell you, don't believe none of it. Because let me explain something to you, and be honest with you. It's about the Dallas Cowboys. That's why, in real terms, the 49ers are a mid-market NFL franchise, right? They got lucky.
San Francisco?
The mid-market. It's not the Golden State Warriors. It's a mid-market NFL franchise that got lucky in the 80s with Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. Since then, it's really been it's not even the Giants have been a better organization since then.
The Niners have been in 2 Super Bowls with Colin Kaepernick and with Jimmy Garoppolo.
And they lost them. They lost the Super Bowl.
Where have the Cowboys been? I want to know in the last 25 years, where have the Cowboys been?
In the last 25 years, the Dallas Cowboys have more wins than 75% of the NFL. Now, those wins have not happened to come in the postseason, mainly because of the Roger Goodell and the conspiracy against the Dallas Cowboys.
So what about Tony Romo when he's trying to hold the rock and it just slips through his hands? Was that the refs too?
The K-ball?
Let me guess, we blaming the refs on that one?
The K-ball, you mean that year? The K-ball?
We waiting for one last play. I get it. Dak, he reached over, he was in. But it was one play. We need one play. All of this is hinging on America hates the Cowboys. The refs hate the Cowboys. The NFL is against the Cowboys.
Roger Goodell.
I thought it was America's team.
Roger Goodell is anti-Dallas Cowboy because Jerry Jones is the only owner with the guts enough to stick up and stand up to Roger Goodell.
I don't know. Hey, we see what's going on with Daniel Snyder right now. It's not pretty with Daniel Snyder right now because
you really can't compare. The Dallas Cowboys have a season ticket holder in all 50 states, the UK, and China. That is the top of the sports world. Let's not get it twisted. Yes, a nice little football team on the Bay Area. Correct. Anything, the China Light to the big bad Dallas Cowboys, you are off your rocker, young man.
Everybody who's watching the Cowboys in the 70s, they're the ones buying the tickets. All the dudes back then. So you see Jerry Jones in the stands in the box. That's who's watching them. Meanwhile, we got a nice fresh stadium as well. And I've been to that. You see some of the merch back there. I went to the first game ever there at Levi's Stadium. So it's
not AT&T Stadium. How you going to compare Levi's to AT&T? America's telecommunications giants to mom to dad jeans. You know what I'm saying?
That might be the only thing
versus the telecommunications giants.
Thing that the Cowboys have on the Niners right now is a stadium. I'll give you that one.
The Bay Area, how can you compare the Bay Area, mid-market Bay Area, to America's team in Big Bad Dallas, AT&T Stadium? Everything bigger in Texas, bro.
That's
everything bigger in Texas.
We would have half the things we didn't have if it wasn't for the Bay Area and San Francisco and this tech boom. We're responsible for the growth of America. We the real America's team.
There's no way. Do not disrespect the Dallas Cowboys like that and say that San Francisco 49ers are America's team. The Dallas Cowboys are better in the present. They were better in the past, and they'll be better in the future. The Dallas Cowboys are the reason why we're here today, to be honest with you.
We're here today. We're here today because our parents, bro. That's why we're here today. But we're talking about
mine's
betting
for
right
the Dallas
now.
Cowboys. Mine's for Dallas Cowboy fans. They were on the right side of history.
Me. I know that. But listen, you're talking about currently, right? The Niners are still set up. Obviously, I get it. Like you're happy with the Dallas team, and that defense is playing better than a lot of people anticipated, right? We seen Micah Parsons. That was a great hit. Diggs was a huge hit. But for me, when I look at this Niners team, this Niners defense is elite, probably the best defense in the league when healthy, right? And now to get a weapon with CMC too, why are we putting Dallas ahead of the Niners right now currently? And then over the last 10 years, I mean, we've been clearing
the Niners are
Cowboys
3-3, and they just lost to the Atlanta Falcons.
Bad losses happen. We're talking week 6. Like, that's bad losses happen. And you win, you go on an East Coast swing. They went to Carolina, went to Atlanta. And I get it, the track. It was Carolina. A terrible game.
Because Carolina and Atlanta are the powers of
terrible.
the NFL.
It's a bad
Exactly.
loss.
So go get those 2 wins and come back to your little small market Bay Area stadium. You know what I'm saying?
When Washington puts that beat down on Dallas later, I'm coming back on the show to talk about how you can lose a game every now and then.
You crazy as hell. The Washington Commanders and the Dallas Cowboys, that's no competition. I still got plenty of schooling to do, you know what I'm saying, on my Dallas Cowboys, but we're going to pause for the cause. Well, no, not right now. We're going to pause for the cause because I want to set up the rest of the NFL schedule, right? Well, I'll get back to proving to you the greatness of America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I'm saying?
It makes me sick, want to vomit.
This is Corey Nando and Friends, presented by the Mayo Media Network on the Better Sports Network platform. You can hop in and join this debate. Hit that call button on the app. You'll pop up there in the third box right next to me and Justin. You come on here and you say, how about them Cowboys? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear no bang, bang, Niner gang.
Bang, Niner gang, baby.
I want to hear how about them Cowboys. I want to hear how about them Cowboys. Bang, bang, Niner gang versus how about them Cowboys. It's on. We lit. Everybody get involved in the conversation. When we come back on the other side, though, there are 30 more NFL teams. We'll try to discuss some of those as well. Off and rolling. Be Corey Nando and Friends on a Friday.
I'm Pat Mayo of the Mayo Media Network and the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. 2 things which you should subscribe to. I'm also the presenting sponsor of Better Sports Network's 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern weekday live block. So you should always tune into that. But what I want to talk about today is daily fantasy strategy and how you can leverage tools in order to both win, but understand what other people are doing, because creating leverage in daily fantasy is about the number one thing you can do if you want to get to the top of the leaderboard. So I'm going to walk through some of the tools that we have at runthesims.com in order to help guide you beyond what the tools actually provide, considering it's a lineup builder, it's an optimizer, it has projections. There's all of that stuff at Run the Sims. But it can also tell us a little bit of a different story. So right now, runthesims.com is already up there. It has NASCAR, it has F1, UFC coming soon, but NFL is the bread and butter of everything. And you're going to get your prop tool. If you want your prop tool, you're also going to get your simulator. And right now, you see it's $2.99 for the package, but because our friends at BSN are so smart, you can go to runthesims.com/BSN, get yourself 10% off, and you're going to want this. You can see all of the myriad tools that Run the Sims provides, but we're going to go to the Classic Optimizer. And we're going to show you how you can create leverage in your lineup without doing anything. We're going to make it the main slate of games because, I mean, if you want to run projections for every game, you can use the entire full slate of everything. And you can pick whatever operator that you want. Well, for this example, we use DraftKings. So all the stock projections are in there. You can play around with them any way you want, game by game, player by player. But if you generate lineups and you're someone who plays both tournaments and cash games, this is important because the optimal lineups will show you who the most common players are going to be in double ups, 50-50s, and head-to-heads, and what those lineups are going to look like, because optimal lineups are all going to be very similar. So Jalen Hurts or Daniel Jones at quarterback, you're going to have a lot of Antonio Gibson, Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara, and Travis Etienne. And I'm not saying don't play these guys, but all you really need to do is pick a pivot point somewhere, and all of a sudden you can make your team especially different, especially in higher stakes in single entry double ups and cash games if you really want to go that way. So even when we go look at our player groups and our player pool, when we generate the lineups that we want, you most definitely saw that you're going to have your Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones lineups. All you really need to do is get a little bit different, come up with a stack in a little bit of a different way, and you see Commanders defense keeps getting spat out. That's going to be the optimal one for week 1. So all you need to do is just go a different way, and all of a sudden you've created a leverage on your opponents, and your 3v3 just needs to win that 3v3, and all of a sudden you're printing money. runthesims.com/BSN for 10% off. I'm Pat Mayo.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
Yo, what up? Happy Friday, everybody. Your boy Corey Parson, the fantasy executive. My man Justin Henry holding it down for Nando. Corey Nando and friends, the Mayo Media presentation right here on Better Sports Network. NBA talk coming up in the next hour. Plenty of stuff to get into. It's a Friday. Having a good time. Justin, despite you being a San Francisco 49er supporter, you're off to a good start. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that. Yeah, try to just get in with all the knowledge, man. I'm just a sports fan at the end of the day. You know, whether we Cowboys fans, Niners fans, at the end of the day, that's irrelevant, man. It's passionate sports fans, and we love the game. So I played growing up, and you know, my son plays right now, and it's for me just having the knowledge and being able to share my experiences with you guys. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah. What did you play?
Hoop. I was a basketball player growing up. So I was a basketball player growing up through high school, and I played guard. So I was a big guard. I'm 6'4", so I was a big point guard. So I always like players like Ben Simmons, LeBron, big facilitators. That's how I was.
Luka,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Trey Lance? No.
Trey Lance, hey, he'll be him. Why? I know everybody's down.
Him?
Everybody's
no, he's
down
not
on
him. Trey Lance is not him. Trust me.
He's young.
He's not him.
We
haven't seen when is he going to play? The last time he was on the football field.
How are you going to downgrade Trey Lance when he's hurt?
2019 for South Dakota State. Come on, are you serious right now? Dallas
Trey
Cowboys
Lance,
quarterback is Dak Prescott. He played at a real college. Mississippi State.
He did play at a real college. You know what? And we've seen guys from North Dakota State come in the league and at least play decent. So play decent.
Please
Please
don't say.
I ain't gonna say it. Because I don't want to get on that topic for another 5 minutes. But Trey Lance has the ability, man. So as long as they brought in the weapons, right? CMC is going to be there, and I feel like that'll be a nice wrinkle next season. So the team invested in him. I think they get right. He's a young player.
They dropped the ball. They're supposed to draft Mac Jones there.
We don't give young players enough time to develop in this day and age. We're so quick to say this guy's a bust. You hear it in Justin Fields all the time right now. We are the NFL evaluators now. So in 2 to 3 years, if they haven't produced, we're like, hey, these are bad players. Trey Lance needs an opportunity to show that he's bad before we give him that label.
Well, why he don't play? So last year he didn't play. I mean, Jimmy G was there, so you got to give him time. Jimmy G was there, and he's a capable starter. We saw him. He took him to he led the team to the NFC Championship. Should have been the Super Bowl. If I want to go with the shoulda wouldas, should have been the Super Bowl. We drop pick, but he was the guy, and so the money was there. The money was talking, and to me, Trey Lance was next up. The team invested so many picks in him. He was a starter this season. And
the starter,
you would have been 0-6. You got lucky that Jimmy G decided to hang around, or else you would have been in a lot of trouble. You're in a lot of trouble anyway, San Francisco 49er, because it can happen on any given Sunday, as we just saw in your loss to Atlanta.
Sometimes you got to give players a chance to develop. And yes, the loss was ugly to Chicago. I think they would have got right game 2. And Trey Lance,
that's right. You lost to the Bears too.
He's a young player.
And you think you should be ranked higher than the Dallas Cowboys?
Jimmy G's the starter now. Of course we should.
Yeah,
we should. Jimmy G's there.
This is a good team. A couple of weeks ago.
Now, the knocking for Jimmy G isn't that they can't get there. It's just they can't win it with Jimmy G. So that's not the knock. It's not the knock that the Niners on the top football team.
I'm glad you know. But, the most interesting and intriguing game from a wagering standpoint to me coming into this week is this matchup between the New York Giants and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville laying 3 points at home. Total sitting at 43.5, right? A couple weeks ago, everybody's all smart. Oh, I have a ticket on the Jaguars to win the AFC South, right? And now people not talking about this ticket on the Jaguars to win the AFC South no more because the Jaguars look like who I thought the Jaguars would be.
Yes.
They've improved a little bit, but not much. But this week, 3-point home favorites versus the Giants. All the money coming on the Giants, yet the line has not moved. Everything here says sharp play, respected money play to the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I'll be honest, I don't know why.
The line's talking. The line is definitely talking. Sitting there at 3.5, wherever you want to get it. The line is talking right now. And to me, this is an opportune spot as a bettor. You're playing the Jags. Like this is, like you said, this is where the sharp money is. But this Giants football team is playing a lot better under Brian Daboll than I think a lot of people anticipated. So I'll be curious to see if this is a get-right game for the Jags or if it's just going to be more of the same. If I had to put my money on it, I would say the Jags at home can get things done against this Giants team.
Yeah, it's hard. Listen, this season you can lose money betting against the Giants. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So
very true.
But everybody's on the Giants this week. We see the line freeze, stuck on Jacksonville. This line is not going to go to 2.5. It's probably got a better chance to go to 3.5 than it does at 2.5. And I'm trying to figure out why. And I think Saquon Barkley could be a little bit banged up.
Yes, he's banged up, and the firepower just isn't there for this Giants team. And so when we talk about Jacksonville, the one thing they've been able to do is they played to their competition, it feels like. They got blown out against the Eagles, but for the most part, this Jacksonville team is like just played to their competition and been in tight games, and the Giants themselves have been in a lot of tight games as well. So I think when you give the edge to the home team in a match that seems pretty even on paper, one team playing above where they probably should, I think Jacksonville's playing a little bit lower than they should be playing right now. But I think we see Trevor Lawrence get right. Another young quarterback who's struggling a little bit this season.
Yeah, but he's better than Trey Lance.
He ain't better than Trey Lance. I mean, I know. Listen, I got the jersey
sunshine,
on.
The Clemson
Star. I got the jersey on.
The Clemson Star.
I know Trey Lance ain't Jeff Garcia, Steve Young, Joe Montana. He ain't all those guys.
You know what I'm saying?
But Trey Lance
will be.
You got to give him a chance.
Has Peyton Manning potential. He has that kind of potential. He's not a FCS quarterback that wore the same uniform as Norfolk State. Like, come on now.
So I like Trevor Lawrence, and I do, and I think he's in a great situation there in Jacksonville. It's just that young quarterback thing, and like I said, Trevor Lawrence has played a year and a half now, and we gave Trey Lance 5 games or whatever it was. Like, we gotta give players a chance. We saw Peyton Manning when he first came into the league. He was terrible. He was good. He showed elements. And I think we see the same thing out of Trevor Lawrence, a lot of inconsistency. I do agree that Trevor Lawrence will be a premier quarterback at some point. It just ain't going to be this season.
And Dak Prescott's rookie season, he went 14-2 and won the Rookie of the Year
Nobody
award.
Expected nothing out of Dak Prescott coming 4th round. Like, nobody was expecting anything out of him. That's the difference. It's the expectations.
The guy you drafted 3rd, I wouldn't expect much out of him.
Trey's coming. Watch. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong, and we got to wait till next season to see him fully healthy, make sure he rehabs the way he's supposed to and gets back on the field. That's first and foremost for a guy like Trey Lance. But I'm a believer. I got this jersey. I didn't go get this jersey. I only have a few jerseys. Did you find that on the clearance rack? That Trey Lance jersey? Was that on the clearance rack? I paid premium for this jersey.
Well,
I went to go pay the extra tag for the Trey Lance, and I got Frank Gore jersey. I got Patrick Willis. I wish I had I gave my son a Jerry Rice jersey.
You know the players you just named, they don't have championship rings. Frank Gore don't have one. Patrick Willis don't have one. You know what I'm saying?
You want to talk about should-haves. That 2013 Niners team for sure should have, or 2012 team should have had a Super Bowl. For sure should have been a Super Bowl.
Which one was
this? The team with Alex Smith and the Giants who dropped the football. That was the best defense in the league that year. Frank Gore was playing at elite level. We had no wide receivers against the Giants.
How'd that season end for the 49ers?
Kyle Williams, man. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about Kyle Williams. Same way you don't want to talk about Tony Romo in 05, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's right. That's Kyle Williams, the White Sox GM son with the fumble. Yeah, I know a couple of 49er fans. That one stings right there. That one hurts, but yeah, we'll get used to it. There's more coming this year.
At least I'll have some hurt. The Cowboys might be a first-round exit if they're lucky.
Oh, here's this one right here, my man. And Getting the Game says in the chat, Hey, guys, let the fans settle this debate. Here we go, a giveaway. Let's give away a signed jersey to the best 49er fan and Cowboy fan out there.
I like it.
Okay, so now we got some stakes to this thing right here. Now we put some stakes on the Barbie. We got a signed Niner jersey, a signed Cowboy jersey. Hit that call-in button. Let your fandom show. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, nobody's calling. I know nobody calling in for that Cowboys jersey. Well, everybody gonna be calling in for that Niners jersey. This history.
Why would somebody look at that color scheme of the 49ers?
What players?
The Dallas Cowboys, the white, the blue,
the colors,
the royalty,
the
royalty of the Dallas Cowboys jersey, the royalty of the star on the helmet, the star on the 50-yard line. Everything is bigger in Texas. That's what football is all about. Who wants that 49er jersey? Never.
From a previous life. You go into a Cowboy jersey from the previous life. There's nothing in the last 10 years outside of CeeDee Lamb and Dak. The jerseys they already have.
Hey,
nobody wants any jersey from there.
Oh, Michael Parsons, the best player in the league. Maybe Michael Parsons, you know what I'm saying? The best player in the league. The white and blue, the royalty that comes along with being a Dallas Cowboy fan. You know, I'm surprised at you. I would think that you would be a Dallas Cowboy fan. You know what I'm saying?
No, I ain't no front runner. Man. I can't be a front runner in my life. You know what I'm saying? I see the Cowboys.
But you're rooting for the team that got Joe Montana, but you're not a front runner.
Nah, I ain't a front runner. I'm from North Cal. This is my squad.
And you like the Lakers too. Okay,
this is my squad, bro. I'm from North Cal. I rep all Cali teams. I don't got mixed bags in there. I don't know who your hoop team is, but if it's Chicago, I'm calling you out. Chicago.
No, I know root for the Chicago Bulls.
Last time the Cowboys are good, we were talking about your notorious PEE story. Where you
hiding behind the Cowboys are good now.
You hiding behind
my power rankings.
You said the Cowboys are where your power rankings? Because you got them number 6 in your power rankings right now, right?
Yeah. And then that's number 6 with an arrow moving up. You know what I'm saying? Right behind my 5th ranked team. Let's talk about this right now. Coming into the season, we knew it was going to be intriguing matchups every week in the AFC this year. And we got a big one in the AFC South this week. Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts. This game is being played in Tennessee. The Titans dominate the Colts.
They do.
2.5 sitting right here. To me, this is the easiest money on the board this week. Later 2.5 with the Titans. I think the Titans are like the opposite of the Colts. The Colts are helter-skelter. The Titans are well coached. They do the right thing. Situational football. The Colts going to miss kicks, offsides, turn the ball over. The Titans not going to do none of that stuff.
You know, at the end of the day, the Colts have been turning things around, much more so than I thought after the first 3 games. I was very concerned about this Colts team. And coming off of a bye, the Tennessee Titans surprised a lot of people, right? Like you mentioned, we were ready to put the Jaguars ahead of the Titans, the Colts ahead of the Titans. And they've been doing their thing. So I really can't hate on this team. Coming off the bye, I do like the Titans to at least to take care of business. But JT is coming back. Yeah. He's expected back this week. They're starting to get full strength. Michael Pittman's been playing at a high level. They got back the receiver, Alec Pierce, coming back from a concussion. He's playing at a high level. I'm not counting out this Colts team. This is more of a stay away, in my opinion. Division foes. Titans coming off a bye. Colts playing well. I'm kind of staying away from this game.
Okay, I can see that right there. I can definitely dig that. But I'm on the Titans. I like the Titans a lot in this spot. This is going to be and it's going to be in that 1 o'clock window too. So I'll be on doing the better zone with my man Adam Ronas and Tom Casale. So this will be a big sweat right here. But I like the Tennessee Titans as one of my best bets this week. So you can catch that right now at the Fantasy Executive. I got an article up with some of my best bets. So go and check that out. Atlanta Falcons, Cincinnati Bengals. Atlanta Falcons, a team that just beat your 49ers.
Oh my gosh. Had to throw it in there.
A team that just beat your 49ers. Can they go on the road and beat Cincinnati Bengals like they beat San Francisco at home last week? The Bengals laying 6 in this one. To be honest, I like Atlanta to cover this number. I don't know if I would bet this, though.
Yeah, I think I would bet the Bengals bouncing back, getting their guys healthy, and this team is playing better. Coming into the season, the Bengals were flat, right? They didn't play into their starters during preseason. A lot of people were concerned about the Super Bowl hangover, obviously, Super Bowl losing hangover. But they started to come into their own, have hit their stride over the last few weeks. So I like the way this offense is playing. The defense is playing pretty well as well. So give me the Bengals in this one. I'll take the points.
Later points with the Bengals, huh? That's interesting.
I would. And this team, I feel like this team offensively is just going to be able to outpower this Atlanta team who's coming off of a high win at home against the 49ers, a team they should not have beat. But they beat them.
They did.
They beat them. They beat
They
them. We got to
did.
keep things matter of fact.
It
won.
was pretty convincingly, too, that they beat them.
This team has major holes, though. This Atlanta Falcons team does have some major holes, and I think the Bengals can exploit that.
All right. I like the Falcons. We're going up against each other on this one. I like the Falcons. I don't know if I would take it to the window, but I do like the Falcons in this game right here. You mentioned something that caught my eye right quick. You know,
I'll probably say a lot of things that catch your eye, Corey. You know, I got a lot of gems that come out of this.
Not a little bit. Relax. You know what I'm saying? Relax, 49er fan. You know, the San Francisco 40. Remember, see, you may not remember when Michael Irvin in the NFC Championship game as a member of the Dallas Cowboys put a $192 on Deion Sanders. 192 in the NFC Championship game. Michael Irvin, number 88. Number 88. You know what? You want to talk about a piece of a sporting apparel that's legendary? That blue and white 88 worn by those legendary Dallas Cowboy receivers, Drew Pearson, Michael Irvin, Dez Bryant, and now CeeDee Lamb. That legendary Dallas Cowboys star on those great wide receivers. Michael Irvin, a $192 on Deion in the NFC Championship game. Beat him so bad, Deion left San Fran to come join Dallas. And you think that the San Francisco 49ers can light a candle to America's team? Please.
You're talking about 88, man. We have to push the rewind button, go to the history books. We got to go so far. I was in Ninja Turtle underwear, eating snackaroos or whatever.
Now
it was.
still probably.
But you know, that's one of the crazy aspects of this. You know, we could talk about iconic moments in this franchise. We talk about the catch. I don't even need to say it, RIP Dwight Clark, but we don't got to talk about the catch and probably how you feeling about that catch. But one of the more interesting things about this dynamic is how many Niners players actually played for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's crazy. You talked about Deion, and I know he had a little resentment there, had to do his thing. But one of my favorite players, my favorite player all time, Terrell Owens, bro. Terrell Owens played great on both teams.
Yeah, he was. Terrell Owens had a Hall of Fame career in San Francisco and then had a Hall of Fame career between Philadelphia and Dallas. When Terrell Owens, at the end of his career, when he was like on Buffalo and Cincinnati, he was still putting up top wide receiver numbers. Man, Terrell Owens was the second best receiver to ever play the game.
I'm not going to debate you on that. I wish I would, but I'm not going to debate you on that. I could talk Calvin Johnson and Jerry Rice, but T.O. is in his own tier.
Rice is 1, T.O. is 2.
Calvin's up there too, in my opinion, but I'll take T.O. I have no problem saying T.O. is a top 2 receiver, and you can flip-flop all 3 of those guys how you want to. To me, T.O., whether he's on the Niners, the Cowboys, the Eagles, that's one of the players that left the Niners that I could go root for him while he's on the Cowboys, while he's on the Eagles, while he's on the Bengals, the Bills. I love T.O., and I feel like his off-field stuff kind of hurt his on-field play, man, and unfairly. Like, T.O. was that dude. You had to be there.
I was there.
I know you were.
Because he played.
You was watching him beat the Cowboys. Stepping on the star.
And then what happened? George Teague almost took his head off.
Hey, guess what?
That George Teague almost took his head off. And the Cowboys won that game. You see, you don't talk about that part. The part that the Dallas Cowboys won that game. It's like when everybody talking about, Allen Iverson shook Michael Jordan and the Bulls won by 35. When T.O. stood on the star, the Dallas Cowboys won that game.
Hey, let me ask you.
You know what I'm saying?
I got a serious question. What was the score of that game?
I don't know.
Did the Cowboys win? Did the Cowboys win the Super Bowl? Nobody remembers that. We remember the star, baby, and T.O. Hey, and I'm so glad he went to the Cowboys and did his thing, man. And it's a shame that neither of these teams was his team that he got inducted with in the Hall of Fame, because some of his most iconic moments are with both of these teams. The popcorn, the pom-poms. He just went with the Eagles. He went with the Eagles, man, which is it's sad.
Interesting.
Bro. Yeah, he should have went Niners, but there's a lot of resentment, and but at the end of the day, a lot of that was off the field stuff. When we talk about on field, which is all I care about, I don't care about the headlines, the media, all that other stuff. I care about how you played on the field. And T.O., you can put him up there with any single receiver, he gets the job done.
Legendary wide receivers between the two franchises. T.O. being one on both teams. Obviously, Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice coming to mind. Right now, CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuels. Just got word in the back that we do have 2 legendary receiver jerseys that they're going to be giving away. So, Cowboy Nation, holla at me, get in here and win one of these jerseys. You know what I'm saying? I'm holding it down for my Cowboys against the hated rivals, San Francisco 49ers. The small market
Oh my
San
gosh.
Francisco, San Francisco 49ers versus Big Bad Texas. You know what I'm saying?
This used to be a rivalry. I used to be able to say, you know what, Niners Cowboys was a rivalry, but it's not. The Cowboys ain't been winning
the games.
Cowboys
Dallas
ain't been
winning the games. Wait a minute. In the 90s, the Cowboys was winning those games. They won the NFC Championship.
The Niners
Alvin
dominated.
Harper walked them off. In the 90s, that Alvin Harper walked them off. Boys to men sent the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. Those NFC Championship games in the 90s was won by the Dallas Cowboys, not the 49ers. You got to go back to the catch when a little fantasy executive was sitting there rooting on the Dallas Cowboys.
Crying his tears out. Yo, hey, let me ask you this though, right? You know the history of the Cowboys. You know,
yes,
right?
I do.
And all the players. Who do you think has better players overall? Because I don't see, if we start going side by side, there's really only one position I'm like, all right. And that was a volume position. Don't get it twisted. That's a volume position that I give you for the Cowboys over the Niners. Every other position, I'm taking Niners.
No, I wouldn't go that far. Now, obviously, you could say that you got the advantage at quarterback because of Joe Montana, who
100%.
is like the second greatest quarterback. You know,
I'll take Steve Young over Troy Aikman.
No, Troy Aikman in the championship rings.
The greatest game manager of all time. I don't want to hear it.
Now he's a game manager.
He's a game manager.
Now he's a game manager with 3
He's in
Super
the Hall
Bowl
of Fame with so many less yards. I don't even know what the number is, but it's
because the greatest running back to ever play was in the backfield.
Exactly.
And Emmitt Smith.
Exactly.
The best.
That's all that matters.
The best.
That's
the best.
That's
like
all they
better
needed. It was the O-line. It was
better
the
than Walter Payton. More rushing yards than Walter Payton.
You said
more rushing.
He had 100 more carries. What you expect?
More rushing yards than Walter Payton. More rushing yards than Jim Brown. More rushing yards than Barry Sanders.
He had
the greatest football player ever.
Else.
Emmitt Smith is the greatest football player ever. The best.
You did not just say that.
Ever.
You did not say that.
Hey,
you didn't say that.
The numbers don't lie.
You
the numbers don't lie.
The ratings only.
You can sit up there and tell me that the 49ers are a big market team, but the truth of the matter is, Emmitt Smith, you look in the record book, number 1, Emmitt Smith.
Hey, if I put Frank Gore behind that offensive line, he would have broke the record. It didn't matter. Roger Craig, you could have put any of the Niners behind that O-line, and he would have did the same thing. Longevity, I'll give him that. He played for 14, 15 years, I want to say, but he had so many more carries.
The heart of a champion.
The next backs.
He had
Barry
the heart
behind
of
that
a
line.
champion. He had Barry Sanders quit on the Detroit Lions. He quit. Emmitt Smith, he hung in there, and he won championships.
A lot of respect for Emmitt Smith and his craft. One of the long-term gamers, and he was efficient, effective in what he did. Played, even on the Cardinals. He was doing, even later in his career, he was still performing at a high level. So I can't really knock Emmitt. We know it was the O-line, though, but I can't knock Emmitt. He's one of the best running backs ever.
He wasn't a good broadcaster, though. He tried to do the broadcast thing, and it did not work out.
It ain't for you. Sometimes you got to stick to what you know. And he knew running the football, not talking on camera.
Oh, here's another hint about the jerseys. The numbers are 80 and 82. Interesting. I can think of an 80 running down the field in San Francisco in Candlestick Park.
I can think of an 80 and an 82. Both. We got a plethora of talent on this Niners team.
Hey, Cowboy fans, get in here and win this jersey, Cowboy fans, and let this dude know that the Dallas Cowboys are America's team so we can continue running the board. I've lost track of the time sitting up here arguing with you this foolishness about the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a good talk though, man. And you see, like I got a bunch of Niners stuff collectible, like I was talking about. The very first game at Levi Stadium, went to that
Y'all
game.
lose?
Yeah, no, that was a win. You can't lose the first game at Levi Stadium. I also have a brick.
Lost the first game at AT&T.
Oh, man, that's just the Cowboys. I wouldn't expect anything less.
All right, so that's not the house that Eli built. Relax. Wait a minute, 49er fan, you lose to the Giants a lot.
Hey,
in big moments.
You know what? I've been to Candlestick, man, and he took us out of Candlestick, man. We had to go to Levi after that, man. There's some bad losses in Candlestick, but fun fact before we do, we got to do. I actually played on Candlestick Field the last game ever played there. Flag football tournament was the last game they removed the field the very next day. I swear.
Wow.
Play tight end, catch the touchdowns in the championship game, baby. That's what I do.
No, that's not what you do.
That's not what I do. You're right.
No,
I'm in front of
not.
the camera now.
No, exactly. You not catch touchdowns. You talk about football on the Better Sports Network. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, hey, Dallas Cowboy fans, Dallas Cowboy fans, let's get in here and school my man. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but let's take a break. Head out to a break. Cowboy Nation, stand up. You know what I'm saying? How about them Cowboys versus the Niner gang?
Niner gang, baby.
We still got some games I want to get into, right? I still want to talk about the situation with a couple of teams that are looking to rebound this week. The Baltimore Ravens, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Green Bay Packers. We'll break it down when we come back right here on Corey Nando and Friends on the Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better. It's Moose and Keith with Mark Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
Moose and Keith with you. Let's welcome aboard right now, Iron Eagle.
One of the great stories that I have from doing notes on a plane, and you always get people looking over. They see color-coded uniform numbers, names, height, weight, age, background, hometown. And I had a woman sitting next to me on a flight, and I'm doing my notes, and she's kind of giving a look, then looking. And I can tell she's looking. And then finally, she'll say, so what is it that you do? Well, what do you think I do? She said, are you a wedding planner? I said, yes. I said, I have to put Rob Gronkowski at Tom Brady's table. I said, you know what? You're not correct, but it's the best answer I've ever heard.
That's great.
Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media.
As far as fantasy life, fantasy executive, it's going to be a football life. The fantasy executive is probably going to be the best football life ever.
And we'll be the guests, everyone who was on yesterday, basically.
Yeah, everybody that's on yesterday will be the guest. Scott Engel, you know what I'm saying? Adam Ronis. Yeah, everybody, those people. Because what Nando, obviously you'll be there. You know what I'm saying? We'll go to the GST and shoot some scenes. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be nice.
We'll shoot some scenes in Midtown Manhattan. Antonio Brown can be on my football life.
That'd be
right?
nice.
Because that's a big part of my come up as a fantasy analyst. Everybody, the football life, the fantasy executive is going to be for the people. When they do the football life on the fantasy executive, I'm going to be hands on.
Good. Yeah. You talking to you.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Cheetos or Doritos?
I truly love both. Cool Ranch Doritos. I grew up on Cheetos. I was a big Chester Cheetah guy.
Oh, nice.
But Ray, as I have aged into adulthood, I've moved away from the fun that is the Cheeto, and I've gone to the, more cosmopolitan Cool Ranch Dorito chip. So I'm probably a Cool Ranch guy. How about you?
I would go Doritos. I don't like Cool Ranch. The traditional, original, regular, whatever it is really good. But my favorite's actually the sweet chili, the purple bag. Oh, it's delicious. It's fantastic.
Yeah. The one that sucks, and I think we can all agree on this one, taco.
Yeah.
I know a lot of things, and I'm perfect at a lot of things. My Dorito trivia is a little shaky.
Okay.
A little shaky. But I think taco is the first flavor.
3rd and 3. The right side possibly. Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Caught it! And they throw a fade right side of the end zone for Owens. He got both feet in. Touchdown catch over the shoulder. Here we go. Oh, they're going to have a big fight. There goes Owens. Here we go. And George Teague levels it. Here it goes. And now Teague is aimed at by an offensive lineman. Flozell Adams pulls Teague away. And Owens is waved to the bench. And he stands in the middle of the star and holds the ball out.
Run with Smith. Good call here. That's the better call. Darrell Johnston with a good block in front. Smith with the touchdown.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say, how about them Cowboys?
Call, chat, and Enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers. The rivalry continues right here today. Corey Nando and friends, presented by Mayo Media. Things got so hot and heavy in the first hour. We're actually giving away a signed Cowboy jersey, a signed San Francisco 49er jersey. Cowboy Nation, get in here and get that jersey. Niner Nation, bang, bang, Niner Gang, get in here and get that jersey. The audio you heard just now, those legendary moments, courtesy of, courtesy of the Cowboys and 49ers radio networks. Also heard some Vin Scully in there on the broadcast of the catch. Legendary. I forgot that Vin Scully was the broadcaster for the catch. Vin Scully, one of the great voices, and obviously 1992 NFC Championship game with the legendary Pat Summerall and John Madden on the call. And, you talk about the rivalry between these two teams and some of these great games, but the soundtrack of so many of these games was Pat Summerall and John Madden. As far as I'm concerned, the two best to ever do it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. And it's, you see him trying to do that thing with Aikman and Joe Buck, and it'll never be the same. Madden and Summerall, the greatest of all time. And it's great hearing their voices, man. It brings back a lot of nostalgia, man, between those moments. I could think of a lot of times you can think of like kind of just sitting in front of the TV or doing whatever you were doing at the time when you hear those calls. So great to hear.
I was watching the Cowboys win. You were watching the Niners lose. That's what we were doing.
I don't know. You heard that other call. I was getting thought about while the catch was being made.
Yeah. I was here already, and I was very disappointed that night.
I bet.
Disappointment and the Baltimore Ravens have been a thing recently. The Ravens, past couple years, not playing well against the spread, particularly at home, particularly as favorites, particularly against their division rivals. But big spot this week, Baltimore laying 6.5 at home versus Cleveland. Total 45.5. So my theory has been that the Baltimore Ravens offense is too predictable, mainly because they line Lamar Jackson up in the shotgun for the last 3 years, and people have caught on to it. So I think there needs to be a change with the offense of the Baltimore Ravens. With that being said, I think the foot goat, Justin Tucker, beats the Cleveland Browns, but I think Cleveland is going to give Baltimore all they can handle this week. I like the Browns to cover the 6.5.
With the Ravens, man, it's tough seeing them go through this because this is a team that a lot of people had at the top of the AFC heading into this year, and they've dealt with some injuries, including on the offensive side of the ball where you mentioned they're struggling. And so when you lose key pieces like that, they went and signed Deshaun Jackson this week, which is a good move for this offense, but also the health of Rashad Bateman. We should see him come back early on in the season. They're missing some key parts in the secondary. So it was a bad loss. It took a bad loss. But to me, this team is better than their record right now. And I know I hate saying that, better than the record. Yeah. You are what you are. But to me, this team has a higher ceiling. I actually like them to go and beat the Browns at home to do their thing.
All right. Your record says you always said by the legendary Dallas Cowboy head coach Bill Parcells.
It's true. It's not a legendary moment, but it's so true, man. Like you want to, at the end of the day, winning matters. And if you can't get the job done, whether it's by a little or by a lot, I'm a no excuses guy. You are what you are. Facts over feelings.
No doubt, 100% on that one. We do agree on that one right there. That's why I'm confused of why you're a San Francisco 49er fan. But that's neither here nor there. You know what I mean? You get in where you fit in, I guess. Tampa Bay and Carolina. Tampa Bay laying a big number on the road. The spread actually went up after the trade last night. Tampa now laying 13 versus Carolina in this one. Tampa going to be a popular pick and survivor this week. I'd be careful with that. You know what I'm saying? But by the same token, I got to be honest, man. Carolina is really a donut. And I was saying to Nando last week, I felt that they would keep McCaffrey to give Wilkes the best chance he had to win, to maybe possibly keep the job. But now with McCaffrey going, it is Tank City, baby. You know what I'm saying?
They're talking about getting Brian Burns out the door, DJ Moore. It's just not. This isn't a situation. This is a stay away because the Panthers might do enough to cover that, backdoor cover or just play tight enough in a division game to cover this. I don't like this one at all. This is a clear stay away, in my opinion. Bucks should beat the brakes off them. But we've seen this story way too many times. So I'm out on this one. I would, if anything, that total is really low. And I think it's low for a reason. The Panthers are going to struggle to put up points, even though it's a really low number. I kind of like that under.
Yeah, the Panthers might not score in this game. I can see the Panthers not scoring at all. To be 100% honest with you, but it's not like Tampa is that much better. And one thing I will say, the Panthers' strength is their front, and the Buccaneers' weakness is their offensive front. That O-line not getting it done. We knew that coming into the season. Is this Tom Brady's last year before he goes off? You know what I'm saying?
It has to be. I think this is his last year. We see him struggling a little bit more angry, right? It's like he really wants to win. You see him breaking tablets, and you know he's going through all this stuff in his personal matter, but he signed that contract, that commentator contract. I think it gets enacted next year, and this is probably his last season. So the line is not playing well. I know they're dealing with some injuries. But to me, this seems like the last hurrah. They went and got Julio Jones, old guy out there. So,
bro, Julio played like a week.
Yeah, and he's out.
And he can't get back on the field again.
There was a report that it's long game with Julio, but with who knows
the long game?
Yeah, who knows what that means when it comes to Julio? We've seen, I mean, over the years, he's just been banged up. And as you know, he plays that physical style. So injuries are starting to catch up. I want to see a healthy Julio because he looked dynamic that first week of the year against Yo Cowboys.
And relax, okay. Oh boy. Here we go right quick. This is the drop in right here. The Niners Cowboys giveaway is live on social. You can go over to the Better Network. You want to get that Dallas Cowboy jersey? You want to ride with How About Them Cowboys? The hashtag is Corey's Cowboys. You are part of the 49er crew. Bang, bang, Niner game.
Yes, sir.
Hashtag Henry's 49ers for the San Francisco 49ers.
Hey.
I'll update that again. Niner fans, Cowboy fans, get in there. Let's make this happen. Rivalry renewed right here on the Better Sports Network.
Hey, and you know you had your rankings, right? You were like, oh, Cowboys are at 6 and Niners are at 10.
True rankings. Yeah.
If you want to go to the poll, the fans have spoken. The Niners are even more favored to come out the NFC according to the fans.
The fans know what they're talking about.
The fans know.
This is not. The fans. I here to dictate to the fans. I don't let the fans dictate to me. I dictate to the fans. Number 80 is the jersey of the Dallas Cowboys.
I can't even think of who the 80
It's not an
is.
88.
I can't think of the 80 right now.
All I
think about when you say 80, that should be retired like Jordan in the NBA. 80 is Jerry Rice. That's the only player you think of. You can't think of no other player.
You may be too young to remember a certain number 80 running the San Francisco 49ers out of that dynasty and out of Candlestick Park on that rainy day in January many, many years ago.
You know what I'm saying? I Jerry Rice, you keep saying 80, and I keep thinking Jerry Rice. Like
Jerry Rice, Goldfingers. You ever been to Canton? You ever been to the Hall of Fame?
I actually went 2 months. went 2 months ago, and it's kind of crazy. Yeah, kind of crazy. You brought up there's a fantasy football expo out there, and it was amazing to see all this stuff, man. Even they had some Niners, Cowboys stuff out there too. It was so dope. Cool story though. I don't know if we got time for this one. I actually shook Jerry Rice's hand the day that he went into the Niners Ring of Honor. I actually shook his hand. I was sitting down low. I want to say it was either Sunday night or Monday night football game, and he was walking around right next to everybody, shaking their hands. It was on TV and everything. Stuck my hand out there, shook hands with the GOAT. Shook hands with the GOAT, baby.
Yeah, no, I met Rice too before at the ES. I remember telling that story with Londo earlier this week about the ESPN, the magazine draft party. He was there one of those years too, along with Deion Sanders, prime time. But yeah, the Kings Classic. I was not able to go this year to the Kings Classic, but I've been there the past number of years, and definitely some cool stuff from both franchises. Obviously, you see the bust of the greatest owner ever in sports, Jerry Jones. What did I say? Did I say something? Did I Dave Chappelle now?
I give Jerry all his props, man. But he need to let go of the team, bro. He need to let go of the control.
Stop it.
This team, he turned into Al Davis on us, bro.
No, he's not.
He turned into Al Davis.
Jerry Jones is the best owner in sport. He's in sport.
Man.
He has the biggest brand in sports. The Dallas Cowboys. That's like, what's the famous soccer team? Totten, whatever they call that.
I don't even know. Jerry, listen, Jerry. I'll give him this.
Is.
Jerry's very passionate about his team.
How about
the Cowboys? That's the old way, bro. That's the old way, because these new guys is coming in there. Warriors owner, I forget his name off the top of my head. Mark Cuban is a damn good owner too. There's some good owners in the space now.
Yeah, but that's not Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is Mr. Owner, Mr. Jones. You know what I'm saying?
I'll give him
Do
his
you
due.
call Al Davis Mr. Al Davis? Do you call? Well, you do say Mr. Steinbrenner back in the day.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
Steinbrenner's too.
Yeah. With the Yankees, they need some. I don't know. I don't want to discuss the Yankees right now.
We can't because we already talked about enough front running stuff. So I don't want to talk about the Yankees. Right? I don't want to talk about the Yankees right now.
You calling me a front runner when your favorite player growing up was Joe Montana, but I'm the front runner. You know what I'm saying?
T.O. was my favorite player growing up. We got to get that right.
Same thing. The best. You know what I mean?
Hey, I can't help it. We was that good back then, man.
Yeah.
I was growing up. I was watching greatness.
Yeah, whatever. We talked Cleveland and Baltimore. Let's go to. Oh my goodness! Speaking of greatness, the perception of greatness with Aaron Rodgers is a little less perceiving at this current moment. But they do get a bye this week when they go to Washington to face the Commanders. Green Bay laying 5 on the road. Probably not going to be something I get behind. Let me ask you a question. Your handicap of the Packers and also your handicap of what's going on. What do you think about that situation in Washington? Are they going to get Daniel Snyder up out that camp?
Man, it seems like they can't. I don't want to get into how, why. That's not my space to do that, but it seems like they can't. So I don't know what's going on with the Commanders or what they're going to do with Dan Snyder. But when it comes to this, the number looks low, right? So you always think, why is the number so low? Obviously, they lost Carson Wentz, and this Commanders team hasn't been good all year. But Taylor Heineke had these boys in games that time. They didn't win a whole lot. But he had them in games, and his team may be more ball management than we've seen them with Carson Wentz at the helm. So it's not like the Packers have come in and dominated teams. It's not like they come in and beat teams they're supposed to beat. Aaron Rodgers, top 5 quarterback, top 3 quarterback, former MVP. I thought he was going to be a lot better this year. Even without Devontae Adams, I thought he would still be good enough to win that division. It's time to be panicking right now. If you're a Packer fan or if you're looking at this Packers team, they got to get him some help because it's clear and proven right now. This team is not the same without Devontae Adams.
You know, when you talk about Cowboys, Niners, the Packers were always like that third team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys always made easy work for the most in those days of the Green Bay Packers. Recent years, it's been reversed. How have the Niners? How the Niners used to?
They used to beat us. Green Bay used to beat us, bro. Obviously, we had the game with the catch two.
Green Bay and Dallas
with Terrell Owens, but for the most part,
that was a good one. That was
Favre kicked our ass every year, man. It was the same thing every year. Outside of that, it was literally the Packers kind of owning us for years, and we've owned Aaron Rodgers recently. Though we've had the Packers, Aaron Rodgers number specifically. He always tries to come back to the Bay and get the wins, but I was at that game too, where Colin Kaepernick ran for 170 yards in the playoffs. And beat the Packers.
Yo, that's one thing I will give you. Colin Kaepernick used to destroy the Green Bay Packers.
Oh yeah,
he'd be running down the field by himself, like it was flag football. Hey. I mean, well, where's everybody else? I just see one guy running. You know what I'm saying?
He took it to the Packers because he was from that Green Bay area, so that was his favorite team growing up. Or he wasn't from there, but that was his favorite team growing up. So he took it to him the same way Aaron Rodgers tries to take it to us, and he can't.
Yeah, but it hasn't been that much luck for Aaron Rodgers. Washington Commanders, man, that's a lot. If I was to make
about him, man, how you feeling about this Commanders?
Oh, I could care nothing about him. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan who lived in the Washington D.C. area for a little bit, right? And their fans are pitiful. You know what I'm saying? It's a pitiful fan base, right? But I feel bad for them because it's like now it's cool to make fun of them, right? But now they've gotten to the point to where they stop fighting back.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying? And now there used to be a 3-year waiting list to get into FedEx Field. You can walk into that stadium on Sunday and buy a ticket on the 50-yard line.
I don't know what to make of this
for less than $200 probably.
And the switch, they lost a lot with that branding too, and obviously this is a whole new identity, a whole new team. So and they missed on some picks recently too, like Chase Young. I expected Chase Young, obviously with the injuries there, I expected him to turn this franchise around and really help with the defense. And he hasn't been able to stay on the field and get on the field at points in time. So, and with Ron Rivera there coaching right now, there just seems like there's too much. It reminds me a lot of what was going on there in Carolina towards the end of his tenure as well. Like to see what he's doing with Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, with the receivers there,
Weird, right?
Something does not seem right.
Don't Gibson look like a better player than Robinson?
Why is Antonio Gibson? Why does he keep getting taken off the field? I don't understand that at all. I don't understand it. I'm not sure anybody on that team understands it. B-Rob is going to come in there, and obviously that's the guy that he wants. But Antonio Gibson was effective.
Yeah, he was.
I don't understand.
He was better if you ask me. Antonio Gibson. So I find that to be interesting as well. But anyway, next game on the slates this weekend. Another interesting one. I'm not touching this though. New York Jets and Denver Broncos. Bronco fam, let's ride. Jets, Jets on the road. I tell you what, the Jets got a lot of swag, right?
They do.
They got a lot of swagger. They
got
play
some dogs in there.
Yeah, they're opposite, but it's still, I'm like, I work too hard to put money on either one of these teams. Justin.
I think the stigma of the Jets and how bad they've been recently is causing that, right? They're 4-2 this year. They're playing at a high level. And Zach Wilson, to be honest, he's not putting up the numbers that support this, but
winning the games though.
He's winning the games, and that's what we talked about. That's the most important thing. So the young guys on his team are playing well. The defense is playing well. Sauce Gardner in there, got the swag dripping with the cheese head. I feel like these guys got a little bit of fight, but they're carrying a lot of momentum to Denver. And Denver we got to figure out what's going on with Nathaniel Hackett and this team because it looks ugly.
Yeah, I can't. Neither one of these teams is doing it for me.
I'd stay away too.
That 49er champagne bottle, right?
It looks good, huh?
No, it doesn't. I'm
it's nice and shiny, you know what I'm saying? That's what champions drink. You know what I'm saying?
Did somebody throw that at you at a party or something like that?
That's a collectible. It's a valuable collectible. Actually, the biggest piece of Niner merch I have on here is my brick. And so when Levi Stadium opened up, my dad actually bought a brick for me, my wife, and my son. So we are part of Levi Stadium, man. It's awesome to go by. We can go see it, and it's nice. It's set out there. So I'm a diehard Niner fan, if you can't tell.
Yeah, it's nice. You have a brick from a small market stadium. That's very nice.
What is it with the small market, man? The Bay Area is carrying right now. Carrying all of the technology for the world.
Bro. It's a small market. It's a small market team that had a legendary quarterback and won a couple championships. But I'm not. You got lucky that you was able to attach yourself to the Dallas Cowboys. Because you see, if it was no Cowboys, you wouldn't be you can't. The Packers didn't make you famous. The Cowboys made you famous. You see what I'm saying?
I'm still trying to remember who's on these Cowboy teams. It was so long ago since they've been so famous in America's team.
A Hall of Famer Michael Irvin, Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith. You wasn't in Canton, right? Hall of Famer Troy Aikman, Hall of Famer Jimmy Johnson, Hall of Famer Jerry Jones, Hall of Famer Larry Allen, Charles Haley. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Hall of Famers. Deion Sanders. Well, you play for both teams, though, but you get my drift. Those Hall of Famers, right?
You said a couple other guys, Larry Allen, Charles Haley. So there's a bunch, like we talked about, man. There's a bunch of guys that played for both teams. But when we're talking about history, you start to mention GOATs. The GOATs wear red. The GOATs don't wear white and blue. There's a bunch of GOATs on this Niner team. GOAT safety, the GOAT who used to be the GOAT quarterback, the GOAT receiver, one of the GOAT linebackers, Patrick Willis, one of the underrated linebackers in the game, middle linebackers, I'll say.
Emmitt Smith. So you can talk GOAT, but then I can pull up a record book and I can show you one.
Are we going to talk records? Are we going to talk record books? You don't want to talk record books. We talk about Jerry Rice. You don't want to talk record books. Jerry Rice. And the thing is, Jerry Rice was the best receiver on his team, but this has a history. The Niners have a history of having historic wide receivers. I mean, you were talking about the numbers earlier, 80, 82, 81. We can go through the numbers. There's a lot of history with these Niner wide receivers.
None of them wear 88. That's legendary Dallas Cowboys one. But the jerseys that are going to be given away to the Cowboy supporter and the San Francisco 49ers supporter are going to be Alvin Harper and John Taylor. Alvin Harper famously
Taylor, easy.
third down NFC championship game, sends the Dallas Cowboys to the Super Bowl with a big catch and run, sends the San Francisco 49ers packing into obscurity. And then you had John Taylor, who was a decent number 2 wide receiver in his day.
Oh, decent number 2. Get out of here, man.
Decent.
Get out of here.
Decent. He was a decent number 2 wide receiver.
What was your favorite? Let me ask you this. What was your favorite Cowboys era team? Like, not just the team that won a championship, but what was your favorite team to watch? Was it like obviously the Aikman Cowboys, the Romo Cowboys? Is it this current Dak setup? Like, what was your favorite era of Cowboys to watch?
Tony Romo. I love Tony Romo.
He was fun.
I love Tony Romo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Tony Romo's going to be on the Football Life, the fantasy executive, right? He's going to be on my Football Life. He's going to be the voice. He's going to voice my Football Life. So those Romo teams were very special and close to me. The 2007 loss to the Giants was very difficult.
Yeah, I bet, man.
It was very difficult. But the finish the fight year, the 2014 season, the Des Corded season, that was a Super Bowl team right there. And Roger Goodell stepped in and messed that up right there. And that kind of was the last time we saw Tony Romo. But that was definitely the era for me, the Romo era, and particularly that 2014 team, that DeMarco Murray, Dez Bryant, Tony Romo team. That was my favorite team of, I guess really like ever.
They were fun to watch, man. You mentioned Green Bay, how you guys owned Green Bay back then too. So it's kind of funny you bring that up. But
Mike McCarthy was the one who threw the challenge flag, and now he's on our sideline.
Now he's on your sideline, man. It was cool because we didn't really have the Niners Cowboys. It still was kind of a rivalry, but it wasn't as harsh during that time. But I really liked that Niners defense. I talked about it a little bit earlier. That 2011 Harbaugh Niners. It was so fun to watch him. And I think there was a couple matchups there with Romo, but for me, man, it was watching that vaunted defense, seeing kind of the growth and progression of a guy, Alex Smith, he was still a game manager, but he happened to start winning games. And then obviously we saw what happened with Cap and the transition there. But that defense to me was elite, one of the best this league's ever seen.
All right, Cowboys 49ers giveaway is live on social. Go over to @Better Network to win an autographed Alvin Harper or John Taylor jersey. Use the hashtag Corey's Cowboys for the Cowboys and Henry's 49ers for the Niners for the jersey you want. Retweet with the most hashtag of your team with the reason why they are a better franchise. Whoever has the biggest fandom towards their team will win. Submit a video or a picture to help your cause. This promotion is all weekend, so you have time. Winners will be announced on Monday's edition of Corey, Nando, and Friend. You have to use the hashtag to win. How about them Cowboys versus Bang Bang Niner Gang?
Hashtag Henry's 49ers.
Relax.
Let's get it.
It's not your 49ers. You know what I'm saying? It's the Bay Area's 49ers.
It is, man. I'm just proud. I'm glad that both of these teams are back relevant because there was a darker period where we were kind of hit and miss. It's good to see. Even that playoff game last year, it was fun to see the rivalry not really renewed with us owning you some more, but it was good to see them in the playoffs. It's been a long time, man.
I give them props. The way they was coming out to Super Gremlin, I was like, oh, this is all right. Now you do it. You can tell that was a team that was ready to lose.
I do think this Cowboys team, you have the Cowboys ranked 6th, and I do think this Cowboys team is better than a lot of people gave them credit for heading into the year. And the schedule isn't very tough. So I can see this Cowboys team getting into the playoffs yet again. And anything goes in the playoffs. So with the defense playing as well as it is, and Micah Parsons can really carry his defense to that next level, which he has already. If they're playing like this in the playoffs, they're going to be a tough out.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, interesting to see how it plays out. Let's hop back in. Continue to run through the board in this week's NFL games. Houston Texans, Las Vegas Raiders. I don't know if I mentioned it to you or I was talking to somebody. I still think this Raider team can hop into it. I still think can make the playoffs. I don't know if I'm going to lay 7 with them. I think that's like the max.
Yeah.
Total 46. I like the Raiders, though. I like the Raiders coming out the bye. I like them to get back in it. It would be nice if what's the quarterback name? I can't think. Derek Carr starts throwing the football to Darren Waller. That would be nice for my fantasy team. But outside of that, some tough losses, but I do like the Raiders to win this game. I probably throw the money line in the parlay. I don't think I can lay 7 with them. But the Texans are not – the Texans don't scare me this week.
They don't scare. They're not a scary team, but they also are one of those scary teams. They're coming off of a bye as well, and they got a lot of youth. So sometimes youth is against teams that are a little more vulnerable, like this Raiders team you mentioned, getting Darren Waller in the fold. It looks like he's trending towards not playing this week. That's another weapon gone. Hunter Renfro's questionable. Like this Raiders team, even coming out the bye, isn't all the way back. So this Texas team, I don't think they're a good football team by any means, but we've seen them hang around in games where they're not supposed to. Ended up with a tie against the Colts. Like it feels like this Houston team can cover 7. I'm going to pick the Texans to cover the 7 points.
Definitely. Want to give a shout out to my man Getting the Game for hooking us up with those jerseys, getting this promo rolling. Make sure you get involved with it. You know what I'm saying? Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yeah.
Let's head to now. Here's an interesting one. Kansas City and San Francisco this weekend in the small market stadium that you have a brick from, Levi Stadium. Total on this one, 49. This opened up with the Niners as a 3-point dog. Now the Chiefs are just a 1.5 favorite. I'll be honest with you. I love the Niners in this spot right here.
I don't. I would love to love the Niners here in this spot. And I know that the line has been pushing towards the Niners, and getting CMC is going to get, I think that's going to help a lot more money come in on the Niners side. But to me, this Chiefs team going up against our secondary, the Niners secondary is still banged up. It's not the same vaunted defense, and this Chiefs team has shown they'll take the bend and break, right? They'll take those yards, and it's happened. This Chiefs team coming off a loss to the Bills too, so on the road it's going to be tough. But I actually like the Chiefs to cover. I don't like that the Niners are home dogs, but I do like the Chiefs to cover the spread.
That road favorite has been a tough spot for teams so far this year in the NFL. But if anybody can do it, it is the Kansas City Chiefs. But I just like the fact that, like I said, I saw that 3 this week, scooped it up right when I saw it because I figured it'd be a good bounce back spot, especially with the way the road favorite.
You got it at a good number for sure.
But the thing about it is like if it's anybody who can defy the number moving all the way against them, it is Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes.
100%.
Not Trey Lance.
Oh, not Trey Lance. Come on, man. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement with CMC obviously coming into town. I think he's they're saying he may or may not play. Like it's very questionable if he plays this week. But there's going to be some new energy in town, and it feels like a must-win game for the Niners, sitting at 3-3 atop the NFC West. Right now, it feels like
brag about 3-3.
Hey, I got to brag. We talk about a win is a win.
With a
win is a
win.
Record, but y'all were getting in at 8-8, 9-7. I don't want to hear it. Cowboys winning the division at 9-7. I don't want to hear it. So the Niners, I got to take it. I got to take it right now, and it feels like a must-win game, more so for the Niners than even the Chiefs, who are looking to stay very competitive AFC West right now.
This is a rematch of the Super Bowl y'all just lost.
Oh my gosh, I had to bring it.
But you lost.
It's one play every time with the Niners. It's one play. We lost. We lost. Missed throw.
Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Jimmy G overshooting Emmanuel Sanders. I remember it because I hit. You know what I hit? I hit on the first touchdown scorer.
Yeah,
I hit. So like I made.
Who was it?
It was Patrick Mahomes. But if you remember, the running back they called touchdown. I forgot who the running back was. Then they reviewed it, and then Mahomes snuck it in.
He got it in.
And Mahomes was like 25-1 to have the first touchdown. So I literally could have stopped watching the game then and there. You know what I'm saying?
Cashed out.
But I wanted to watch the Niners lose, and I was able to do that successfully.
It's heartbreaking, man. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna lie. It's not as heartbreaking as the loss to the Ravens. I was emotionally invested in that loss to the Ravens. That one hurt bad. With the break, because there was the break too, with all the stuff with the lights going out. We made that comeback.
Shut the lights out. Yeah,
made the comeback. We had the touchdown. Frank Gore running into the end zone, and they called it back. And then the fade, the Crabtree, just right over the outstretched hands. Man, that was the toughest. That's probably the toughest outside of that Giants game. That's been the toughest loss for me in recent memory.
The Cowboys game. Yeah, that was fun for me.
That was like the equivalent to the Romo Seahawks game for you.
All right, hey, relax. That Romo Seahawks game was a Saturday night.
Oh,
it was a rainy Saturday night in Washington, D.C.
Oh, gosh. I remember I was watching on my phone. I was watching that game on my phone, and I drove. I was like, I got to go to the restaurant to watch this. So I watched into the restaurant just in time to see Mr. Tony Romo do it all, come in there and try to hold that kick, man. And
Cowboys had a punt return a kickoff return for a touchdown to get back in that game. And then that happened. That was a rainy Saturday night in DC. I watched that game at work in the break room because that's when I was a civilian. Well,
I was at work, bro. You know, there ain't no crying at work, man. And I know.
No, I didn't cry. I was too grown to cry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was optimistic because that was Romo's first year. That was the first year of me and Tony Romo's friendship.
You know, Tony Romo, man, he doesn't get enough credit, you know, as a player. And what he brought to that Cowboys franchise during the time that he played, he wasn't even supposed to be anything. And he turned into did he end up getting in the Hall of Fame? I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame, but he ended up turning into a great quarterback. So I don't think he gets enough props.
I think he should because be a Hall of Famer, but they're not going to put him in the Hall of Fame. People be hating on him.
He ain't Hall of Fame level. I'm sure Trey Lance will get there one day over him, though.
No, Trey Lance can't even get on the damn field to the Hall of Fame. We still got a couple games to break down. Plus, we want to talk a little bit of NBA stuff. So we'll hit the back end of the NFL schedule, talk about the big Monday Night Football game coming up between the Pats and the Bears. Also, old AFC rivalry between the Miami Dolphins and Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll break that down. Got some interesting matchups on the NBA card tonight. Got a couple plays on those. We'll share those as well. Don't forget, Niner fan, Cowboy fan, head on over to @Better Network on social media and get involved in our little rivalry. And you can win an Alvin Harper jersey, Dallas Cowboy fan. You can win a John Taylor jersey, both autographed, authenticated jerseys. You know, Cowboy fan, Niner fan, let's get it. When we come back on the other side, we'll wrap up the NFL and get into some NBA stuff. It is Corey Nando and Friends, presented by the Mayo Media Network right here on BSN.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network. Corey, Nando, and Friends, presented by Mayo Media on Better Sports Network.
I'm convinced that Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Babe Ruth is not real. No, it's not. Babe Ruth is not real. We've been hoodwinked. We've been bamboozled. We've been led astray. We've been run amok.
Keep going.
Babe Ruth. I don't know the rest. Babe Ruth is a fictional character. I'm dead serious. Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Y'all are never going to get me to believe that Babe Ruth is real. Babe Ruth is like a baseball Santa Claus. I'm not buying it. After I saw those highlights last night of Babe Ruth, I'm like, there's no way you can tell me that Babe Ruth is a real person. Who do you know? There is nobody under the sound of my voice that has ever seen Babe Ruth play. I asked my pop, you ever seen Babe Ruth play? He's like, no. Nobody's ever seen Babe Ruth play.
I mean, come on.
I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character. Even Babe Ruth baseball cards, it looked like it's drawn. Like, Babe Ruth is not real. Y'all trying to pull a fast one. Listen, I don't know who made this up. Maybe it was Phil Rizzuto. Maybe it's the Lenny Melnick. But Babe Ruth is not a real person. There's no way. Everything about Babe Ruth is sketchy. If you didn't go to the games, how do you know that it really happened? Or I listened on the radio. You listen to Ovaltine on the radio. That old school radio was all fiction. Everything on old school radio was fake. But you think Babe Ruth is real?
Look, he lived until 1948. So if you find someone who's like 85 years old, you know, they might have remembered him when he was little, you know, when they were a little teenager.
Babe Ruth was made up by baseball purists. I am certain.
You do that thing where you pause a Babe Ruth video and you zoom in and you zoom in and you zoom in. You see like some artist's autograph, like right here.
Yeah, you like
digital art right here.
Yeah, somebody needs to investigate this and see if Babe Ruth is a real person. I'm pretty sure Babe Ruth is a fictional character created to make people think that like there was this great jolly old baseball player that drank beers and ate hot dogs and hit 60 home runs. Like the home run record before Babe Ruth was like 14. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and
but
now
he figured it out. You know, like who figured out the dunk, right? Like he's just like, oh,
that's like Dr. J or something, right? Then Dr. J, probably was before Dr. J, but Dr. J made the dunk famous. Babe Ruth made the home run famous, or maybe that was a way to get people to like. We're gonna make baseball America's pastime, but in order to do so, we need somebody who we can make the face of the sport. And they didn't have no face of the sport. So they're like, okay, let's make him a fictional guy that played for the Red Sox and was traded to the Yankees for like tickets to the tickets to cats. You know what I'm saying? Like the Red Sox get a
You tried to say Les
There's
Miserables.
is there any footage of Babe Ruth in the Red Sox uniform? None. I'm telling you, Babe Ruth is a fictional character.
Montana is back to throw. He looks and throws end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! To John Taylor with 34 seconds left. A 10-yard touchdown pass to John Taylor.
They've got moved to the slot to the left on 1st and 10. Taking end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown, Cowboys. Alvin Harper.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
All right, Alvin Harper jersey being given away this weekend. Authenticated signed Alvin Harper jersey. So is authenticated signed John Taylor jersey. Better Network on Twitter right now. I think it's going to be on Instagram as well. Getting involved on the debate. How about them Cowboys versus Bang Bang, Niner Gang? Justin and Corey still got about 25 minutes of racetrack left to go. After this program will be the Fantasy Along Playbook with the homies, Justin Fensterman and Adam Ronas. They'll take you on to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and then BSL, Better Sports Live, will get you ready for the weekend. And then tomorrow morning, I'll be back at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for homecoming, get you ready for a big day in college football. Weekends, we got you covered, the whole shebang. And Justin, you got some stuff going down on social media, correct? I'm sure it's live and lit over there.
Absolutely. Every day on YouTube, you can catch me, The Justin Henry Show. That's Justin Henry with a 3 instead of an E on Twitter, but you can look up Justin Henry Show on YouTube. I do daily start sits, talking NFL news, fantasy football, NBA, 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, 6 o'clock Eastern, live on YouTube.
Nah, Nick, no days off for the fantasy executive. A bag has to be gotten. You should see these. I got churn. You know what I'm saying? And they like nice stuff. Well, my son is grown now, thank God, but still, the stuff gets a little bit more expensive when, you know what I'm saying, when he needed. And then my daughter, oh my goodness, the activities and everything. So definitely try. How you got? What is your crew? So my boy is big now. He's 21. My girl is 12. Okay, you know what I'm saying. So she's moving on up.
So my oldest is 12. So my oldest just turned 12 on Monday. Happy birthday, my guy Tyson. So yeah, he just turned 12, and I got a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old as well. So all boys. I'm the LeVar Ball guy out there yelling at my kids, go hoop.
Yeah.
And so that's me right now.
That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Got the crew right there. Seahawks, Chargers, interesting one right here. Love the Chargers. You know what I'm saying? I came into the season thinking they were a little bit overrated. I like what I've seen from them so far. The Seahawks, though, been a big story this year as well. I would take the Seahawks to cover the number, but I like the Chargers to win the game. I think the Chargers figure out a way to pull it out. What I worry about the Chargers is Mr. 4th and 10. Their head coach, Brandon Staley, being can be a possible somebody lose. I won't say a bad word, but he can lose them a game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about this one right here, Seahawks and Chargers out there on the West Coast?
Yeah, it's going to be a West Coast affair, and I think the Seahawks can cover this number. And there's a strong, I really think that there's a chance that they pull off this win as well. And this is a better team, a better Seahawks team than people are giving credit for. And this NFC West, although the records don't speak, we know it's a battle-tested NFC West. So the Chargers, they're playing well, getting some wins. A lot of people have them ranked in the top 4, top 3.
Yeah, I do.
Of course, like you do. But I think this Seahawks team, they play to their competition as well. So if the Chargers slip up at any point in time, this could go in the Seahawks' direction. I like the Seahawks to cover the number.
You a Pete Carroll guy?
I respect what he's done. I don't think he's great by any means, but he gets wins, and I got to respect what he's done here in this division for the last 10 years. So I'm not a huge Pete Carroll guy, but I see what he's doing. Like he did it without Russ. He's done it without Marshawn. The defense isn't elite, and he's still happening to get wins and make this team competitive. So I respect what he's done.
All right, okay, cool. That's what's up. What about you get into like no USC Trojan football, no Cal football, no UCLA. You know what I'm saying?
I got my heart broken in college, man. So I used to be this big, college guy back in like the late 2000s. I was betting a lot on them, and things got ugly.
The Trojans.
Trojans. Oregon was really good at the time. Chip Kelly was doing his thing. Yeah. So and then I started getting into the Eagles. Yeah, then I started getting into the MAC action. Started getting
Oh, a
Max
little
at Kent State.
Maxion, yeah.
Oh man, it got rough for me. So I was like, you know what? Let me stop getting out college, bro.
Yeah, they have they're Toledo and Kent State are rivals, and Toledo, the chant is, can't write, can't read, can't state.
Hey, I'll say this:
funny.
Toledo and Kent State both those teams made me a lot of money, man. The MAC has some good teams. It always has some underrated action in there.
No doubt. So shout out to the MAC conference. Those do be some good games. You can catch them in the middle of the week a lot of times. Makes it even more interesting. Football night in America. I've been waiting all week for Sunday night.
The new vocalist.
And that's what, even with the stuff he knows, I'm getting my I'm not a singer. It's not my thing. It's not my
I would have never guessed.
Really? I'm a dope MC, but
Yeah,
I'm not a singer. Pittsburgh Steelers, Miami Dolphins, old school AFC rivalry. Dolphins and Steelers from back in the day made new Tua returns for the Dolphins this week. They're laying 7.5 at home. I wouldn't lay 7.5 with this team, but I mean, it's hard to bet on the Steelers. Either the total is 45.5. What do you think of this one right here? Interesting contest between these two old school AFC teams.
This is about when the Cowboys were first started
Very
winning.
funny.
So back, I can't even remember it. It's all hearsay,
Very
like
funny.
Wilt Chamberlain and Babe Ruth, like you mentioned, man. But I like the Dolphins in this one. And I think the firepower is just too much. Both of these teams, if we look at it from a fantasy perspective, both of these teams are terrible against opposing wide receivers. And Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle both have game-changing speed. Tua coming back, I think, helps this case. They finally get their quarterback back. He's had time to rest and get up. So hopefully he's healthy on the field and everything's good to go with him. The Steelers team just has it rough right now. On the road, going into Miami on Sunday night, it doesn't seem like a good case scenario right now for the Steelers. I think they play tough, but at the end of the day, the firepower for the Dolphins is just going to be way too much.
I would fade the Miami Dolphins for the rest. When I say fade them, I'm not going to be able to bet on them, right? And I hate to say this, and please forgive me, knock on wood. I do not want this to happen, of course. But everybody that they put back there gets hurt.
Yeah.
And if Tua goes down again, it's over.
Yeah.
This season's over, bro. It's a wrap.
I
don't hope so. Like I said, knock on wood, but I don't know if he finishes this season.
It'll be tough for this team. And they have, like you said, Bridgewater has been back there. He's been hurt. I want to say Skylar Thompson even got banged up a little bit. So
yeah,
it's Tua, man. I hope and pray. I hope he makes it through the season because they're a fun team to watch with Tua. We saw him got off to a really hot start and then he got hurt. This team is fun to watch with all the weapons they have there in Miami. So if they play, they're going to be climbing up your power rankings here, I think, after this week and very soon here with Tua at the helm. So I like this team and I hope they do right by him. And they've done right here in these last few weeks, their due diligence to make sure he's safe on the field. But you mentioned it. These quarterbacks keep getting hurt, so we got to make sure he stays on the field.
Interesting to keep an eye on that. And when you're betting the Miami Dolphins, remember, be careful with that because you don't know if he's going to finish the game the way that things have been going. Last game of the week, Monday Night Football, New England Patriots. This opened up the Pats as an 8-point favorite, pushed up to New England now, laying 9 across the board. Mac Jones could be back this week. I would expect to see another week of Bailey Zappi, though.
Yes.
Really, a reason why this number is so lopsided, not because of the greatness of the New England Patriots. It's more because of the fact that Bill Belichick versus Justin Fields is about as lopsided a battle as you can get.
And he's going to take away everything he does well, which is just running
Nothing.
At this point. Yeah, it's just running the football at this point. So I think it could get ugly. And obviously they're in New England too. So I think the weather might be a factor in this game. Obviously check the reports. I'm not a meteorologist and I don't try to pretend to be, but I've seen stuff out there. The weather could be a factor in this game too. So just something to note. But I don't expect much from the Bears. I don't like games like this. I don't like taking the points with this type of games. I'm staying away from Bears Patriots. The total sitting at 39.5 is probably more intriguing to take the under there as well.
Yeah, that could be the case as well. I could see a scenario where the Bears don't get in the end zone or maybe not even score at all. So that's kind of where we're at, where we stand. I feel pretty good going into this week that I'll come out. I'm not going to say I'm going to be rich on Monday, but I'm going. The light's going to be on. You know what I'm
heavy,
saying?
Huh? You're going heavy. You pushing all in on it. I ain't mad.
The light's going to be on. But I tell you, the teams I really like the most this week. I like the Patriots a lot this week. I like the Niners a lot this week. And I like the Titans a lot this week.
I I really like that Dolphins game. I really like the setup for this Dolphins team, and there's going to be a lot of negative sentiments about the quarterback position. But I think Tua comes in, fires up, and the Steelers team they're not playing at a very high level right now. So I think the Dolphins come in on the national stage and show, hey, we're going to beat the teams we're supposed to beat. We're playing better with Tua under helm.
You going to Levi Stadium this week in small market Levi Stadium?
I'm not going to big market Levi Stadium. I'm not going there. But I do want to get to a game with this. I want to see that Tampa game against Tom in case it's his last one. I want to see that Tampa game.
Yeah, I was thinking about trying to maybe see Tom Brady live this season too, but you know what I'm saying. A lot of stuff going on, but that would have been cool. But then
BSN live. We need to do a live, or I'm there. I'm there. Well, yep, I'm there on one side. You're there on the other.
That'd be cool. We can do that. You know what I'm saying? If it's Cowboys and Niners in the playoffs, we can make that happen again this year.
We might have to. If it's Cowboys Niners in the playoffs, I'm flying. If it's to Dallas, you got to come out here. If it's to the Niners, we make it happen.
Well, it's going to be in Dallas because we're in my power rankings. In my power rankings, we're higher. You see what I'm saying?
But the Eagles are going to win that division. It's clear as day. The Eagles are going to win that division, and we're going to win our division handily, especially just getting CMC now. Breaking news, obviously. We got one of the best running backs in football.
Wait a minute. You act like Christian McCaffrey is somebody who you can – how often he's played 16 games in 3 years?
Hold on a second. Are we not calling Christian McCaffrey one of the best running backs in football right now?
You got to be – your best ability is your availability.
Now,
and Christian McCaffrey's availability has not really been – peak the past couple of seasons.
The great thing about the Niners, we keep a stable of backs. And we've been able to win with the stable of backs. So even if he goes down, you got Elijah Mitchell, got Jeff Wilson. There's enough. TDP waiting in the wings. We got a stable of running backs waiting in the wings. So I'm not worried about it. I think he just brings a big play element to this Niners team that's really only found in Deebo Samuel. And so with Jimmy G at the helm, we know he's not going to be slinging 60 yards downfield. What Christian McCaffrey does is provide another asset for that 60-yard type of play. And to me, he's going to be a valuable piece for this Niner run game because that's all that seems really missing. The big play, the big pop, they have to work their way down the field with game manager and Jimmy G. I love the move for the Niners. It doesn't necessarily move the needle super high, but it makes them, it raises the floor, in my opinion.
All right. Don't forget, everybody, this weekend's a big weekend, NFL, big weekend right here on Better Network. For Cowboy fans, 49er fans, the giveaway is live now on social media at Better Network. Go over there. Maybe you have a chance to win an autographed Alvin Harper or John Taylor jersey. Use the hashtag Corey's Cowboys for Cowboys and Henry's 49ers for the Niner jersey you want. Retweet with the host hashtag of your team and the reason why they are the better franchise. Could be as simple as the Dallas Cowboys are America's team. No question asked. You know what I'm saying? Submit a video or a picture to help your cause. This promotion will go on all weekend, so you have time. Winners will be announced on Monday's edition of Corey, Nando, and Friends. You have to use the hashtag to win. How about them Cowboys? Bang, bang, Niner game. Justin Henry, I'd like you to meet my good buddy and fellow Dallas Cowboy fan. We're going to team up on you now. His name is Adam Ronis, and he also roots for America's team.
What's going on, Adam?
What's up, man? Yeah, Corey and I go way back. It just happened to be common, both from New York and Cowboys fans. So, we go at it and feud with each other, but we have that common link. I mean, I hate the hat that he's wearing today. So we disagree on that. But yeah, man, big Cowboys fan, been a Cowboys fan since I started watching football. I mean, everyone asks, how are you a Cowboys fan growing up in New York? And for me, my father passed away when I was young, so I didn't have that male figure to kind of get me into sports. I don't know how, growing up in an all-female household, that I became such a big sports fan because I didn't really have anyone to influence me. But as far as football, I had a neighbor who was kind of like that big brother to me, and he was a Cowboys fan. So he got me into the Cowboys in the late 80s, and the first few years were brutal, and then the 90s were great. I don't know if you remember, we beat the Niners 2 times in the NFC Championship game.
Yep.
And then also got some bad calls in that, and the one that you guys won, and Barry Switzer coming in did not help.
The Barry Switzer game, he came on the field, and he got a 15-yard penalty. Dallas was down 21-0 in that game, and they came back and tied the game. That's the game when Michael Irvin went from 192 on Deion Sanders.
Oh my gosh. Well, Adam, first and foremost, appreciate you coming on. And I'm sorry. I just want to say I'm sorry that your friend got to you as a Dallas Cowboy fan before he introduced you to the Niners. Y'all haven't seen the Super Bowl since 95, since 96. So I feel your pain. I feel your pain. We've been into a Super Bowl. We know what it's like to be going in a Super Bowl to play on the biggest stage.
Going to the game and winning the game is different.
Yeah, second place is the first loser.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You should know
Cowboys,
that.
I know that used to be the argument back in the day, and I know you probably were part of this argument too, Adam. The 5 for 5. That was the Niners for a while. It was like our thing against the Cowboys. We were 5 for 5, and Cowboys had lost 3.
Yeah, I mean, look, those 90s NFC championships were really good. It just sucked because I thought the Cowboys had a real shot there to win another one. And, Barry Switzer coming in, I think he messed things up a little bit. It would have been great to keep Jimmy Johnson there. But, I'm pretty objective, though, when it comes to the 49ers. I actually like them this year. And, I picked them. I think they can win this week. I really do. I think a lot of people are on the Chiefs. You do too? Okay, yeah.
Like
See, that's the one thing, with Corey and I, we obviously have to be objective, especially when it comes to sports betting and fantasy.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I really do have a hatred for San Francisco, though. But, I want to win money. And I do think San Francisco has a good shot this year in the NFC. I really do. Even before the McCaffrey trade, that division is it's just not good, man. You can't believe in the Rams. You can't believe in the Cardinals. I know Seattle's playing over their heads right now. So, they should win the division. But their biggest problem every year is injuries, man. And like last week, early in the week, I was on the Niners. The -5.5, and then I saw those injuries. I said, I can't do it. I was still stunned that they got stomped like that, but
I wasn't.
You weren't? I was, man. I didn't expect that by Atlanta. I know Atlanta's playing over their heads, but I think San Francisco is one of the better teams in the NFC, despite being 3-3.
Hey, so Ronan, I told as far as this Cowboy rivalry with the San Francisco 49ers, I talked about my love for Tony Romo. You know what I'm saying, and particularly my favorite team really being the 2014 team, the Finish the Fight team, the Des Carter team, DeMarco Murray, that team right there, and how that came to an end in Green Bay. What are some of your favorite Dallas Cowboy players and favorite memories from watching this franchise, America's franchise, Justin, America's football team? I said yesterday they could send the Cowboys to the World Cup. That would be a good idea, actually. What do you think, Ronas?
Yeah, that would be good. For me, though, it's Michael Irvin, man. That's my guy, man. 88, I got a lot from him. That's my number, and I put in a lot of things. And, we look at all the receivers with 88 cents, Des Bryant, CeeDee Lamb. But Michael Irvin was my guy because just his emotion and his intensity that he brought to the game. Like, I felt after he left, too, they kind of fell off. I thought he was the guy that just got them all fired up. And we know how wild he is off the field. But he had that personality, and I just felt like he was the emotional leader. Aikman was kind of low key. I mean, Emmitt was big. Emmitt Smith was big. I mean, I'll never forget Emmitt Smith against the Giants with that separated shoulder and that overtime game, winning the division. That was huge that year. So always love Emmitt Smith, but we all know he was running behind a great offensive line. I just loved Michael Irvin, man, the intensity that he brought. I like playing wide receiver as well. But I love Michael Irvin, man. I like those intense players that work real hard, and Irvin is that guy. So he was one of my favorites. I mean, but that 90s team, man, there were so many good plays, even on the defensive side, too. Jeff Code, they just had so many good players, man, on that team. And I just wish they would have won 3 in a row.
Yeah, that would have been cool right there. They wasn't able to get that done.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Ronas is coming up next. Ronas and Finsty on the Playbook powered by Fantasy Alarm. Ronas, we'll see you right on the other side of the top of the hour, my man. And I'll see you on Sunday on the Better Zone.
All right, man. Good meeting you. Go Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
Get him out of here.
All right, Justin, let's run through it. Let's see. You got a couple minutes. Let's hop in here. Give a quick run through some NBA action tonight. Interesting. Washington Wizards 2-point favorites versus the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls don't have Zach LaVine. I can't see why Washington would be a favorite in this game. So that's scaring me off of betting it. But I feel like hammering the Bulls money line.
Yeah, the Bulls, man, it's just they haven't played the same without Zach LaVine. They're dealing with their own injuries at the guard position. And this Washington team, they're not bad. Like this Washington team, it looks bad on paper, but they got a bunch of young guys on there and they play tough. I think they can cover the 2.5 points. And like you said, it's one of those lines where you look at it, you're like, the Bulls should be beating the Wizards. Something's up here. They favored by 2.5. I'll take the Wizards in the points.
Pacers and Spurs. no play for me on this one. I need to see a little bit more from both of these teams. But Tyrese Halliburton did come out the gate with a strong performance on the Pacers opening night game.
He looks like he's probably going to win Most Improved Player of the Year. And like I talked about him from NorCal and from Sacramento. That was, to me, that was a bad trade last year. Getting Sabonis, and I get that the Kings are trying to win. It just hasn't equated to wins. And a guy like Tyrese Halliburton, who's going to be at an all-star level this year, should be able to elevate him over the Spurs. 1.5. I'm not too worried about that. Give me the Pacers.
Interesting one right there. Okay. New Orleans Pelicans, Charlotte Hornets. The Pelicans do look like a wagon. Am I ready to lay 7 on the road with them, though? Not going to go that far. I do have a Pelicans Grizzlies money line parlay. You can get that at around -105. So I went and I hit that one right there. Like the way the Pelicans looked on opening night. The Hornets also got to win, but I think the Hornets can cover this, but I'm not willing to put money on this one. Like I said, I got that the Pelicans on the money line.
Yeah, the Pelicans win didn't feel the same as the Hornets win. With
Exactly.
Zion back, this Pelican team's going to be scary.
Toronto Raptors and Brooklyn Nets. This right here is going to be Brooklyn a 2.5-point favorite in this one. The book keep making the Nets a home favorite, and the Nets keep stealing y'all money. I'm all over the Raptors in this spot right here. I believe the last time the Raptors played the Nets in Brooklyn, the Raptors won by like 40.
I am very high on this Brooklyn Nets team, but it's going to take a while for them to get things figured out. It's the same thing we see with a lot of great super teams or teams with collectively good talent, a bunch of vets in there. You got to play basketball at some point, so they're going to have to get used to each other. And this Raptors team plays well together. That's the difference between them and the Nets. I'm going to stay away from this game because I think the Nets are a better team. But to me, if I was going to take action, to be on the Raptors side.
Boston Celtics, Miami Heat. The Boston Celtics with a very impressive opening night victory over the Philadelphia 76ers. The Miami Heat, for as good as Boston look on in night one, they look just as bad. Kyle Lowry looks like we're coming up on the end of his career. And I looked at Lowry's numbers. This is Kyle Lowry's 18th season.
Man, it doesn't seem like it.
It does not seem like it. And I'm saying to myself, you're not going to be a contender if Lowry is a big part of your team. I think the Celtics roll tonight.
I don't agree with that. There's something to be said about veteran presence, and I think PJ Tucker missing from this team is probably hurting more so than anything, kind of giving that little bit of grit. But we've seen the Heat. They're at home today, and they're always a bounce-back team. Like, they don't get crushed, and they normally rise to the occasion. So while I think the Celtics are a better team, this seems like a nice spot for the Heat getting 2.5 points. I'll take the 2.5.
I can't get to all the games, but I do want to touch on this one right here. Big game tonight in the Yay area, the small market Yay area. Yeah. Golden State Warriors laying 5 points versus the Denver Nuggets. I want the Nuggets to win, but wanting somebody to win and them actually winning is two different things.
Yeah, the Warriors should handle business. Jamal Murray is potentially out as well. So give me the Warriors in this one. The Warriors continue to do things. Bay Area teams. I'm a Laker fan, but Bay Area teams do it better. We've been talking about it all through the broadcast. Give me the Niners and make sure you use Henry's Niners to win your jersey, man.
All right, there you go. Go use Henry's Niners to win your jerseys. Corey's Cowboys to get that Alvin Harper, and you can run San Francisco right into obscurity like they've been, small market obscurity like they've been since Joe Montana left. Nah, but Justin, my man, appreciate everything today, filling in for Nando. Definitely enjoyed hanging out with you. Good stuff, my man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me on. And like always, man, I'll be here to talk Niners Cowboys all day. We got to revisit it every single time I'm on here.
No doubt. And I'll be here all weekend getting you, helping you win college football, helping you win NFL. For Henry, I'm the Corey Parson, fantasy executive. We're out.